stoppage time at Valley Parade. He also scored for Bradford today, but they still lead Oxford by 3-2. Into the Championship, Tony Pulis' first game in charge of Middlesbrough has ended in defeat, Peter Slater.
It has, 1-0 to Villa. Early birthday present for Steve Bruce, 1 year older tomorrow. Nothing for Tony Pulis to celebrate on his first game in charge. It was decided a quarter of an hour from time. Albert Adoma against his former club. His cross picking out Robert Snodgrass at the far post, aheader for his third of the season. Pulis ran his bench to highlight the introduction of Adama Traore, but despite all their possession, not a Borough shot to test Sam Johnson in 90 minutes. He has work to do. Middlesbrough 0, Villa 1.
Sunderland have won at Nottingham Forest by 1-0. Derby have won 2-1 at Ipswich. That will take them second. Hull 2, Fulham 2, Burton 0, Norwich 0. Brentford have beaten Sheffield Wednesday by 2-0. And the other Sheffield club have lost as well. Sue Smith.
They have it. Sheffield United 0, Bolton Wanderers 1, and Bolton get their first away win of the season through a Gary Medine tap-in at the far post. That was his 8th goal of the season. He had a very good game and looked dangerous throughout. Bolton, the better team in the first half. Sheffield United dominated the second half, and I'm not sure how they didn't equalise. Both substitute Donaldson and Clark missing very good chances. Have to give credit to Bolton, though, who were resilient defensively and worked hard throughout the game. Deserved their 3 points. Full-time, Sheffield United 0, Bolton Wanderers 1.
Barnsley have drawn with Reading, and the bottom club Birmingham have beaten Leeds. Steve Crossman.
Yes, they have, so they're no longer the bottom club, and thanks to those victories for Bolton and Sunderland, Birmingham really needed a win. Craig Gardner was accused of not caring by fans after their last home game. Now he's applauding all 4 corners of St Andrews. He was superb. Leeds were poor. Jacques Magoba's scrambled goal gave Birmingham a 1-0 win over Leeds United.
And let's get details of that Derby win at Ipswich, which takes them second ahead of Bristol City against Wolves at 5:30. Sahel Sahi.
And yes, Bristol City will only dislodge them out of the automatic spots marked by beating the leaders Wolves at 5:30. 2 goals from Sam Winnell, 1 in each half. The second, a lovely strike from 25 yards. Joe Garner pulled one back, which proved to be a consolation, as Derby are unbeaten in 6 heading into the new year. Full time at Portman Road. Ipswich 1, Derby 2.
Game of the day in League One was 3rd against 4th, and it's ended all square. Richard Askham.
Yes, Blackburn 2, Scunthorpe 2. A cracking advert for League One football this. Mind you, both sides are full of internationals. Danny Graham's 2 goals either side of a Kevin Van Veen strike put Blackburn in charge, but Scunthorpe, with Dwayne Holmes outstanding, responded with a goal from Connor Townsend after some horrible home defending. It finished 2 apiece at Ewood Park.
Also finished 2 apiece at Blackpool between them and Plymouth. Bradford have held on at home to Oxford. They win 3-2. Fleetwood have won at bottom of the table Bury by 2-0. Oldham 1, Bristol Rovers 1, Southend 1, Shrewsbury 2, Walsall 1, Rotherham 2. The other full times in League One. The other games are still playing. In League Two this afternoon, Cambridge have beaten Crewe 3-1. Coventry are 1-0 up at Carlisle, but that game's still going on. Cheltenham 1, Newport 1, Chesterfield 0, Colchester 0, Crawley 1, Stevenage 0, Exeter 2, Barnet 1, Accrington 1 at Grimsby, Lincoln beat Forest Green Rovers. The leaders, Luton, have been thumped at Port Vale by 4-0. And second place Notts County have lost as well, 1-0 at Swindon. And Wickham, who had been ahead at home to Mansfield, have been beaten by 2-1. The big score in the National League is that top of the table Macclesfield beat at the start of the game third place Sutton by 1-0. In the Aviva Premiership this afternoon, wins for Gloucester and Newcastle and Saracens, and at half-time at Twickenham, it's another miserable afternoon for Northampton. Sonia McLaughlin.
Yep, Quins 31, Northampton 0, and it's really hard to understand how Northampton are so poor given the players they've got. Laws, Hartley, Wood, et al, but this has been a sorry 40 by Saints. Quins, by comparison, sharp, scoring 4 tries to chalk up the bonus point, with young fly half Marcus Smith pulling the strings and kicking 5 from 5. Alan Gaffney starts with Saints this week and has much to do at half-time. Quins 31, Northampton 0.
There is one game still going on in League One in the football. MK Dons still lead Peterborough by 1-0, and MK Dons have been playing with 9 men since just after the half-hour mark, but they lead Peterborough by 1-0, and Peterborough have been on a very, very good run of form as well. They'd won their last 4, 3 of them in the league. We're going to bring you 7 more commentaries from the Premier League over the next few days, including Arsenal against Chelsea on Wednesday night here on 5 Live. 6:06 is on the way after our next commentary tonight, which is Manchester United Southampton. We'll open the lines in half an hour. 08085 909 693, and Sports Report is next. West.
Enter 2018 with 5 Live.
It's a new year and it's a new show.
The Emma Barnett Show.
Monday to Thursday, 10 a.m. till 1 p.m. For the biggest debates, the biggest interviews and your views playing centre stage. The Emma Barnett Show.
Starts January on 5 Live.
Good afternoon, I'm Mark Chapman. You're listening to BBC Radio 5 Live at exactly 5 o'clock, and this is Sports Report. This evening's headlines: Swansea fight back with a 90th minute winner at Watford to give Carlos Carvajal a winning start.
Dyer saved by the goalkeeper, but the rebound is tucked in, and Swansea have what could be a winner. Luciano Narsing.
Mo Salah strikes twice as Liverpool come from behind to beat Leicester. Chelsea thrash Stoke 5-0 to go up to second. Sam Allardyce suffers his first defeat as Everton manager as they lose at Bournemouth. Bournemouth now out of the bottom 3. Newcastle Brighton and Huddersfield Burnley both finished goalless. At 5:30 we're at Old Trafford for commentary in Manchester United against Southampton with Alan Green.
United can ill afford a third successive draw, and with Saints' form there shouldn't be one. Lingard, late saviour against Burnley, is one of 3 changes made by Mourinho. No surprise he replaces Ibrahimovic. A change in goal, the most interesting of 4 made by Southampton. McCarthy in for Foster.
In Scotland, the Old Firm ends goalless. Celtic go into the winter break 8 ahead of Aberdeen, who draw with Hearts. Derby win at Ipswich to go second in the Championship. Bristol City can reclaim that second spot if they can beat the leaders Wolves at Ashton Gate in the tea time game. Tony Pulis starts life as Middlesbrough manager with a home defeat by Aston Villa. And away from the football, England draw the 4th Ashes Test. We'll have reaction to the day's big stories to come. But first, the classified football results with Kevin Howells.
The Premier League. Bournemouth 2, Everton 1. Chelsea 5, Stoke City 0. Huddersfield Town 0, Burnley 0. Liverpool 2, Leicester City 1. Manchester United against Southampton, late kick-off. Newcastle United 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 0. Watford 1, Swansea City 2. Sky Bet Championship. Barnsley 1, Reading 1. Birmingham City 1, Leeds United 0. Brentford 2, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Bristol City against Wolverhampton Wanderers, late kick-off. Burton Albion 0, Norwich City 0. Hull City 2, Fulham 2. Ipswich Town 1, Derby County 2. Middlesbrough 0, Aston Villa 1. Nottingham Forest 0, Sunderland 1. Sheffield United 0, Bolton Wanderers 1. League 1. Blackburn Rovers 2, Scunthorpe United 2. Blackpool 2, Plymouth Argyle 2. Bradford City 3, Oxford United 2. Bury 0, Fleetwood Town 2. Gillingham 2, AFC Wimbledon 2. Milton Keynes Dons 1, Peterborough United 0. Oldham Athletic 1, Bristol Rovers 1. Portsmouth 3, Northampton Town 1. Southend United 1, Shrewsbury Town 2. Walsall 1, Rotherham United 2. League 2. Cambridge United 3, Crewe Alexandra 1. Carlisle United 0, Coventry City 1. Cheltenham Town 1, Newport County 1. Chesterfield 0, Colchester United 0. Crawley Town 1, Stevenage 0. Exeter City 2, Barnet 1. Grimsby Town 0, Accrington Stanley 3. Lincoln City 2, Forest Green Rovers 1. Port Vale 4, Luton Town 0. Swindon Town 1, Notts County 0. Wycombe Wanderers 1, Mansfield Town 2. Vanarama National League. Aldershot Town 1, Maidstone United 1. Barrow 1, Solihull Moors 2. Boreham Wood 2, Torquay United 0. Chester versus Hartlepool United postponed. Dover Athletic 0, FC Halifax Town 0. Eastleigh 2, Woking 2. Ebbsfleet United 1, Dagenham and Redbridge 1. Gateshead versus Wrexham, postponed. Leyton Orient 0, Bromley 1. Macclesfield Town 1, Sutton United 0. Maidenhead United 1, AFC Fylde 2. Tranmere Rovers 4, Guiseley 0. Ladbroke Scottish Premiership. Aberdeen 0, Harty Midlothian 0. Celtic 0, Rangers 0. Hibernian 1, Kilmarnock 1. Motherwell 1, Hamilton Academical 3. Partick Thistle 2, Ross County 0. St Johnstone 0, Dundee 2. Scottish Championship. Brechin City 2, Inverness Caledonian Thistle 3. Dumbarton versus Greenock Morton, postponed. Falkirk 3, Queen of the South 2. Livingston versus Dunfermline Athletic, postponed. Scottish League 1. Adrionians versus Alloa Athletic, postponed. Arbroath 1, East Fife 1. Ayr United 2, Forfar Athletic 3. Queen's Park 2, Albion Rovers 2. Wraith Rovers 3, Stranraer 0. Scottish League 2. Berwick Rangers versus Stenhousemuir, Edinburgh City versus Clyde and Elgin City versus Stirling Albion, all postponed. Montrose 2, Peterhead 6. JD Welsh Premier League. Barlowtown 1, Prestatyn Town 0. And finally, the New Saints 2, Newtown 4.
Manchester United against Southampton to come from 5:30 this afternoon on 5 Live Sport. So it's a shortened sports report. Let's start it at Vicarage Road, where it finished Watford 1, Swansea 2. The home side had been ahead until 4 minutes to go. Kieran sent us a tweet saying substitutions changed the game. Credit to Carvajal, a great start for him. Hopefully this will kickstart the rest of our season. And boy, did they celebrate, Mike Sewell.
They certainly did, and a bit like a disguised uppercut from a boxer, no one saw it coming. A knockout blow to end all contests. With 4 minutes left, Swansea were heading for an 8th consecutive Premier League defeat on the road, but the most remarkable of turnarounds saw them win for only the second time since mid-October. Jordan Ayew struck the crossbar after 5 minutes. That was an encouraging sign for Swansea, but from that point on until the last 4 minutes, Watford were fairly comfortable. The goal from Andre Carrillo after 11 minutes stood firm until Ayew popped up to equalise from Narsing's cross that was knocked down by Oliver McBurney. There were questions about whether Ayew was marginally offside, but then 4 minutes later, literally seconds from the end of the 90, it was Narsing who followed up after a shot from Dyer was saved by Gomez to win the game for Swansea City and give Carlos Carvajal a winning start.
And we will try and get some reaction from Watford before we go to Old Trafford in 20 minutes' time. Swansea off the bottom of the table, being replaced by West Brom. Give you the whole table very shortly. To Anfield next. Liverpool beating Leicester by 2-1, which means they are 4 points clear of Spurs now in the race for the top four. This was watched by Ian Dennis.
Well, make no mistake, Liverpool deserved this victory, although they had to work hard for it. A combination of their own doing and also Leicester City's perseverance. A defensive error was punished as Leicester City took an early lead. Mahrez found Vardy, who has a habit of scoring against Liverpool, and he did so after just 3 minutes. But the home side dominated. Salah missed 2 great chances. Mane had 2 goals disallowed. Maguire helped Leicester's defence hold firm. However, you just can't keep Salah quiet. Mane's back heel set him up to equalise after 52 minutes, and then he showed his strength to escape Maguire and force home a 23rd goal, equalling a club record to match Roger Hunt's record before New Year of tally of 23 set some 56 years ago.
It is a remarkable season for Mo Salah, Simon Grayson.
Look, he's got fantastic ability, he's got strength, everything he seems to hit goes in, but he's got a fantastic work ethic as well, and the other lads behind him, they supply the balls to them, and what he doesn't want everything to feet. He can run behind, they play these 1-2s, they play balls over the top, 10-yard chip balls, and when you've got to have forward runners and people who can execute the chances when they come along, and it was an excellent game today, and he was obviously the standout player as he has been all season for Liverpool.
Do you think his strength is underrated or underappreciated?
I think over the last few weeks I think there's been a few goals now that people have not just looked at his technical ability. They've gone, well, he's actually held this player off, this defender off. He's turned and he's twisted him, and that was highlighted today. Harry Maguire got a little bit too tight to him around the 18-yard box, and he rolled him, held him away, and he went through and then showed his capabilities of an outstanding player with the chip over Casper Schmeichel. So you've got to be very careful in these situations with these type of players, because the strength, they can out-strength you, but also if you don't get too tight, they'll punish you with their ability.
Thank you very much, Simon. Former Leeds, Preston and Sunderland manager Simon Grayson at Anfield for 5 Live Sport this afternoon. It's so tight at the bottom that Bournemouth this evening have gone from the bottom 3 to 13th after they ended Sam Allardyce's unbeaten record as Everton manager. Their 2-1 win was watched by Mark Scott.
And it was a fully deserved victory as well, Mark. Ryan Fraser's deflected 89th minute strike, winning it for them to end their long winless run. They bossed the first half. Their positive play rewarded on 33 minutes when Fraser neatly hooked in. Toothless in the first half, the introduction of Rooney and the Ass after the break gave Everton some much needed oomph in attack, and a Bournemouth mistake was punished just before the hour as Steve Cook gave the ball away and the Ass teed up Idrissa Gueye for the leveller. Bournemouth very much still the better team after that. Only a magnificent Pickford save kept Wilson out while Jordan Ibe hit the bar late on. Eddie Howe must have thought their chance had gone before Fraser's effort came off Jagielka and Keane to wrong foot Pickford. Bournemouth 2, Everton 1.
Here's some of the social media flying around from Stoke fans this evening. Lee, it's not getting beat by Chelsea, Manchester City or Spurs, etc. It's the manner of the defeats. Daniel, I'm 52. I've supported Stoke all my life. That's the worst performance I have ever seen. Respect to the travelling fans. Those travelling fans saw them thumped 5-0 by Chelsea, as did John Southall.
Yes, and once we saw the Stoke team sheet, the scoreline was always a distinct possibility. Mark Hughes prioritising the home game against Newcastle on Monday at the expense of this one. You can understand his thinking. Wins against the likes of Newcastle will define Stoke's season, not games against Chelsea. But you can also understand the gripes of those Stoke fans who you've just heard from there, who made the very long trip down here. And it was basically all over after 8 minutes after goals from Rudiger and Drinkwater. And when Pedro added the third on 24 minutes, you really feared for Stoke then. Willian added a fourth from the penalty spot, and Zabacosta wrapped it up late with a fifth goal. The Chelsea manager Antonio Conte is just away to my right at the moment conducting some interviews. His Chelsea side are now up to second. They've helped themselves to 9 goals against Stoke this season. So let's hear from one of those goal scorers, Danny Drinkwater, with his first goal for Chelsea.
The manager's been telling us as well we need to score more goals in games we are winning, and you know we've scored 5 there, so no complaints.
And what about the way you started the game? How determined were you to bring out a faster start than against Brighton a couple of days ago?
Yeah, I think that was key. I think that was the reason why we ended up winning the game so comfortably. I think, you know, if the game gets a bit sloppy, then we kind of play into Stoke's favour and we can end up in a bit of like a fight and a rut. So, you know, the way we managed the game today was good on our side, definitely.
There was a terrific variety of goals. We've just shown you yours again. What do you make of it?
Yeah, it was all right, I suppose. It was all right. No, I'm happy with it. Good to get off the mark in the Chelsea kit, so happy days.
Let me give you the Premier League table then this evening. All teams have played 21 now, unless I say otherwise. Manchester City have actually only played 20. They have 58. Chelsea now second with 45. Manchester United only played 20 and they have 43. Liverpool have 41. Spurs and Arsenal both 37 from 20. Burnley have 34, Leicester and Everton 27, Watford 25, Huddersfield 24, Brighton 22, Bournemouth and Stoke have 20, Southampton have 19 from 20 games, Newcastle have 19, Crystal Palace have 18 from 20 and they're outside the bottom 3 on goal difference. West Ham in the bottom 3 now with 18 from 20, Swansea have 16 and West Brom have 15 from 20. They play Arsenal tomorrow, a game you'll be able to hear on 5 Live Sport. Newcastle fans not happy this evening. John, that was one of the worst games of football I've ever watched. Really, really poor. Barely even tried to win the game. Mark, Rafa is not the man for us. Good manager, but not the man with a limited budget. It's obvious he cannot do it at all. Another miserable afternoon for the Newcastle fans. A goalless draw at home to Brighton, watched by Alistair Yeomans.
Yeah, good point for Brighton and a pretty fair result, I think, but I'm not sure how much good it does for Newcastle. Yes, lots of grumbling around the ground at the end. Brighton goalkeeper Matt Ryan made 3 excellent saves in the match, the best from Isaac Hayden's shot from the edge of the penalty area. It deflected off Lewis Dunk, fine one-handed save. both teams tried to attack, but the final pass often went astray as their recent shaky form caused anxiety. Newcastle in particular have much to ponder going into the new year.
Goalless draw at Huddersfield as well this afternoon, where Burnley were the visitors. Will Perry.
Yeah, this was marginally better than the really poor goalless reverse fixture in September, and I use the word marginally. 14 shots combined, just one more than the second fewest in the Premier League this season they managed at Turf Moor. You get the picture. Sean Dyche's post-match thoughts, I'm sure, will focus on referee Paul Tierney. Dyche furious with his decisions throughout the game, none more so than when Jonas Lörsel caught Jeff Hendrick's ankle, his right ankle, bringing him to the ground in the box. No penalty given, no card shown. It was a stone wall with cement between it, spot kick. Burnley the better team though today. Hendrick also had a goal ruled out for offside after turning in a rebound from a free kick. Goodmanson, Defoe flashed efforts wide of Lursel's left and right posts. Barnes headed over. Wells had a good chance to win it against his old team late on, but Huddersfield stay 11th, keeping the gap to the bottom three at 6 points. Burnley remain in 7th, but really frustrated.
The tea time game in the Championship is Bristol City at home to Wolves, and that kicks off in 15 minutes. Derby took their chance and went second in the Championship after a 2-1 win at Ipswich. Cardiff have dropped to 4th after their defeat last night. Leeds in 5th also lost this afternoon, beaten at Birmingham. And Sheffield United in 6th also lost, beaten at home by Bolton. So Aston Villa have gone level on points with Sheffield United after they won at Middlesbrough. Birmingham are not off the bottom of the table despite that win at home to Leeds. They're a point off Burton Albion, who drew at home to Norwich. Bolton, despite that win, stay in the bottom three. Sunderland just out of the bottom three on goal difference after they got a 1-0 win at Nottingham Forest. Back to the Premier League. Let's hear from the new Swansea boss, Carlos Carvajal, after his side turned it round at Watford. 1-0 down with 4 minutes to go. They ended up winning 2-1.
We prepared the game very well, but we felt some problems, special to number 8 play behind our midfielders, and he create a lot of problems to us. We move, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes to finish first half, something. We move Carroll to the midfield right side to cover that situation. When we move Carroll to that situation, we block the dynamic of. We felt that we blocked the dynamic of Watford, and we in the second half, when we put one winger on the right and we put Lucas inside with the Carroll to control also the situation, we starting growing up in the performance during the second half, better and better. Also from outside, we try to help the team and put one striker fresh, and after one more winger, we want to win the game. And at the end, I must give congratulations to my players, because in the difficult game, in the difficult circumstances, they are better players that they are showing. They need a plan and a dynamic and a game model very, very clear to growing up. And we felt that during the game they was better and better, and we finalized well the game. Again, against a strong opponent is a fantastic victory.
I'm sure Jason Robbie will want to hear from Swansea fans. 08085 909 603, and probably also Watford fans who have let a lot of late leads slip this season. Let's go back to Twickenham, see if Northampton can get back in the game in the Aviva Premiership against Harlequins. Sonia McLaughlin.
No, they're not going to get back into this.
Right, thanks very much. Moving on.
It's Harlequins 36, Northampton Saints 7. A very odd atmosphere here, Mark. You wouldn't think that 70,000 could go so quiet, but that's because this really is no contest at all. But Saints at least are on the board through centre Peter Horn with the try, converted by Stephen Myler. But you know that Northampton are going to slip to an 11th defeat in a row in all major competitions. It's Harlequins 36, Northampton Saints 7.
Thank you very much, Sonia. Back to the football. The gap between the top two in League One is just 2 points. Wigan drew last night. Shrewsbury took advantage with a 2-1 win at Southend. The teams in 3rd and 4th played each other, and it finished Blackburn 2, Scunthorpe 2. Bradford are 5th. They held on to a 3-2 win at home to Oxford, and Portsmouth stay in 6th after they beat Northampton by 3-1. Bury prop up everybody else after another defeat, being beaten at home by Fleetwood. Rochdale are next to bottom. They lost last night. Northampton, as I said, lost at Portsmouth. They're in 22nd, and AFC Wimbledon have the final relegation spot. They drew at Gillingham, but they're 4 points from safety because Plymouth in 20th got a 2-2 draw. Blackpool, we are going to get team news from the game at Ashton Gate very shortly between Bristol City and Wolverhampton Wanderers, but let's go back to Bournemouth and Mark Scott.
Yes, thanks very much, Mark. I've got Eddie Howe alongside me. Eddie, congratulations on the victory. What's the overriding emotion after that? Relief, perhaps?
Pure relief, yeah, absolutely. We haven't won for too long in our eyes, and in the Premier League, with how difficult the games are, when you get those moments, you really need to take them. And we felt today might be another missed opportunity, similar to West Ham, where we felt we dominated the game and didn't win. But today we dominated the game, and we really stuck at it and deservedly got the winner.
I saw you say in your programme notes that if you played with the same energy and tempo that you did against West Ham, you fancied that you'd end that winless run. And I thought from the off today, you really did have a lot of energy.
Yeah, we did. I mean, when we're at our best, that's how we play. And if there's been a criticism this season of us, we maybe in certain home games we haven't had that real rhythm that we normally play with. But I felt it's returned in the last batch of games, and even the ones we didn't win against Manchester United and Chelsea in the Cup and various other games. I felt we've really got that back. But it's only really tested when you win and when you get the points that you feel you deserve. And today we've done that.
Congratulations to Eddie. Thank you very much.
Eddie Howe live on Sports Report with Mark Scott, and Jurgen Klopp is live with Juliet Ferrington.
Yeah, Jurgen was happy to wait for us. Jurgen, you said, there you go, we will all be working hard to finish 2017 in the right way. And you worked hard. That was hard fought for you.
It was, and it was brilliant football as well. So it was just a fantastic game to watch. It was one of the best all-round performances of the whole Liverpool team, supporters involved. Not ever since probably, but for a long time. So I'm really happy about the game tonight. We've chosen obviously the worst start you can choose, and with being 1-0 down against Leicester. But after that, the reaction was the best we showed so far since I'm in, and it was fantastic. Not a little bit nervous, really convinced about the things we do. Created a lot of chances, but didn't score. That's how life in football is. So we knew in half time we have to carry on, and that's what the boys did. And so they deserved the 3 points tonight.
And I think that was one of the best fist pumps right at the very end as well. You absolutely gave it some, didn't you?
But what?
The fist pump.
I don't know. It's much more exciting, or feels more exciting when it's a 2-1 than it's a 5-0, of course. But I really thought that the first half was. Football is sometimes unfair, but it felt especially unfair in the first half. So we made, if you want, one mistake around the first goal, and they couldn't stop us in those situations. So they were lucky in 3, 4, 5 situations, and then it's still 1-0 for Leicester. So that didn't feel unfair. I mean, if you then get the fairness back, it feels quite nice.
Yeah, you had so many chances in that game. It could have been a lot more as well. But you were saying at the end as well, you want to create more memories in 2018. Have you got a favourite of this year so far? Or not so far, because we've come to the end of it.
I don't know. I didn't think about it, to be honest, because we don't have time too much to reflect and to watch back. No, I think it was everything so far was quite well. We qualified for the Champions League, which was outstandingly good, and now we are in a good position in the league again. So, but there's a little bit space for 2018 to improve, and that's what we try.
Concede less, score more. Jurgen, Happy New Year. Thanks very much.
Jurgen Klopp live with Juliet Ferrington. Into League Two, the top two surprisingly lost. Luton thrashed 4-0 at Port Vale. Notts County in second, losing at Swindon. Lincoln in third, won, as did Exeter in fourth, and Coventry in fifth. Wickham in sixth, lost. Accrington in seventh, won, and they are 2 of 4 teams who are on 40 points. The bottom two, Forest Green Rovers and Barnet, both lost. Let's get more reaction to the Premier League games. A miserable afternoon for Stoke and their fans, beaten 5-0 at Chelsea. Here's Mark Hughes.
We had 2 young lads playing today that did their best under difficult circumstances, and it was a back four that never played together at any level. So there was always going to be a little bit of a risk, clearly, with our back four, but it was all we had. If we'd had the schedule Chelsea have, Chelsea play on Wednesday, today and Wednesday, then yeah, we would have picked the Shakiris, the Choupo-Motings, Joe Allens, and would have had a go. But we weren't put in that position. We were put in a difficult position, and that's how the schedule tests you. And sometimes for clubs like ourselves, we'll get tested more than the bigger clubs because they've got that strength and quality and depth that this period tests.
You may well, because of the players you rested today, have some fresh legs on Monday, but is there not a chance that morale could really take a knock after a result?
No, I don't think so. I think there was, listen, our record here, I think I'm the only manager in the Premier League who's got a point at Stamford Bridge, so our record's not something that we were trying to protect. It's poor, so the reality was that it was going to be very difficult for us to get a positive result here, even with a full strength side. So sometimes you've got to be pragmatic, sometimes you've just got to take your medicine and move on to the next one and focus on that one.
Mark Hughes, Stoke fans, if you want to react, the phone lines are going to be open in 5 minutes for 606 08085 909 693. That follows our third commentary of the day, which is Manchester United against Southampton. That kicks off in 5 minutes. The tea time game in the Championship is a huge one. Bristol City against Wolves. Ross Heaton.
And 10 days after piling on the misery for Mourinho, could Bristol City be the side to end Nuno's 10-game unbeaten run with Wolves? The Robins start 8 points behind the visitors in third, but have won 6 out of 7 here, or were only denied victory when they met at Molineux by a late equaliser. The return of Jamie Patterson is City's only change. 2 changes for Wolves, Bart in defence, and top scorer Bonatini in for Cavallero.
In the Aviva Premiership this afternoon, Gloucester beat Sale 2016, Newcastle won 2015 at London Irish, Saracens 46, Worcester 31, and Harlequins are going to beat Northampton at Twickenham. Sonia McLaughlin.
They are. Harlequins 43 now, Northampton Saints 14. 2 tries have at least seen Northampton Saints save face through Peter Horn and Nick Groom, but there was a moment to forget just now for Ben Foden for Saints, because he fumbled the ball in defence. Quins pounced, they recycled quickly, and Danny Kerr, the England scrum half, got his 2nd try of the match to chalk up number 6 for Harlequins. And I should tell you that Danny Kerr is turning broadcaster, because he is going to host the Rugby Union Weekly podcast on New Year's Day, so he'll no doubt want to talk through his 2 tries today. Harlequins 43, Northampton 14.
Thank you, Sonia. In the Scottish Premiership this afternoon, it finished goalless at Celtic Park in the Old Firm between Celtic and Rangers. Also goalless at Pittodrie between Aberdeen and Hearts, so Celtic 8 clear of Aberdeen, still at the top of the table. Elsewhere, Hibs 1, Kilmarnock 1, Motherwell 1, Hamilton 3, Partick 2, Ross County 0, and Dundee 1 2-0 at St Johnstone. To Old Trafford shortly, but first here's Carissa Chatterton.
More live Premier League football than anyone else. This is BBC 5 Live.
Emergency crews are dealing with a fire in Manchester city centre. Greater Manchester Fire and Rescue Service say it's broken out on the 9th floor of a 12-storey building in the city's northern quarter. Barry Gibbs says he feels humbled and very proud to be knighted in the New Year honours. Nick Clegg and Ringo Starr also become Sirs. Around 70% of the people on the list are being recognised for their work in the community. Police investigating an alleged terror plot in the run-up to Christmas are searching 2 properties in Sheffield after arresting a 5th suspect. The 21-year-old was detained last night. And Lord Adonis, who's resigned as the government's infrastructure advisor, says Brexit is infecting the whole conduct of government. The former Labour minister has denied he quit before he was pushed.
Sports Report. This is BBC 5 Live.
Let's just recap the Premier League results for you so far today. Liverpool beat Leicester City by 2-1. Chelsea 5, Stoke 0. Watford 1, Swansea 2. Newcastle 0, Brighton 0. Bournemouth 2, Everton 1, and Huddersfield 0, Burnley 0. They're the scores you'll want to react to with Jason and Robbie later. 08085 909 693. The lines are open now, and then you'll be able to watch all the goals and incidents on Match of the Day tonight, 10:30 on BBC One, with Alan Shearer and Ian Wright alongside Gary. To our third commentary of the day now at Old Trafford, Manchester United against Southampton, with Danny Mills and Alan Green.
Thank you very much, Mark. Obviously an awkward afternoon for United so far before they kick off this game. They've conceded 2nd place for the moment to Chelsea after Chelsea's 5-0 thumping of Stoke, and Liverpool, having come from behind to beat Leicester, have moved closer to Manchester United, who now occupy 3rd place. So there's a lot riding in this, particularly off the back of 2 successive league draws for United. United's manager Mourinho has made 3 alterations today. A change in defence, Rojo is left out and Lindelöf comes in. Then Ibrahimovic drops to the bench, and so too does Rashford. In come Lingard and Mkhitaryan. This is the United starting 11. The goalkeeper is De Gea. The defence, Young, Jones, Lindelöf and Shaw. Then we've got Pogba, who's captain today, and Matic. Then Mata, Mkhitaryan and Lingard, and finally Lukaku. Southampton got one more than Mourinho. They made 4 alterations. The first of them in goal, where McCarthy replaces Foster. Other players left out: Targett, Lemina and Redmond. Enter the 11, McQueen, Tadic and Ward-Prowse. Their keeper, as I've said, is McCarthy. The defence is Stevens, Yoshida the captain, Houghton, McQueen. Then it's Romeo, then Boufal, Højbjerg, Tadic, Ward-Prowse, and finally Long. And Danny, all points to home win. But that ain't the Premier League, is it?
Well, you'd like to think so. Obviously, Paul Pogba back. You know, he needs to stop getting these needless suspensions. People will argue that the last one was a little bit harsh, but he's been given the captain's armband. He needs to help out Lukaku today. He's had a little bit of criticism. I think Mourinho has backed Lukaku in the last few days, trying to take the pressure off him, saying he's a little bit tired, had a lot of games to play. But those two are the big players that can really make a difference for Manchester United.
Well, Southampton in their black shirts and blue shorts and socks, attacking the Stretford end in this first half. They're on the attack at the moment with Tadic, and he's won a throw-in. Be interesting to see how they approach the game. Got an absolute thumping, of course, by Spurs at Wembley. Made a couple of changes late on. Tadic was one of those who came on, and they improved in an attacking sense. They're on the attack at the moment, but that breaks down courtesy of a loose pass, and it's cleared by Manchester United up towards Lukaku, where it's intercepted by the left full-back today, McQueen. McQueen puts it out of play. Throw in to United, 20 yards short of the halfway line. Taken by Young. Young gets the ball back and finds Jones. And now it's on towards the far side of the field. Lukaku on his own, of course. That's the way Mourinho generally plays it, with one out-and-out striker. Lingard is wide down the left-hand side, on the far side, and Mkhitaryan in the central of the 3 positions behind Lukaku. Now taken up by Lindelof. Lindelof's long ball forward, found Lukaku, but he didn't control the ball, and it's cleared by Southampton. It squirts out of play, and the assistant has flagged that it's Southampton's throw in. The challenge on Young, only diverting the ball out of play, straight out, not off Boufal as he originally claimed. McQueen takes the throw in, and it's forward. Interesting to see how Shane Long does today. Young chases after it. I say he's won a corner, actually, just putting pressure on the defence. So the referee has decided he must have given him a little shove there because he's awarded a goal kick. It's unfair on Long, because he's a decent striker.
They just clipped Matic's ankles as he was running through.
Yeah,
that's what's happened there.
I say he can't score goals at the moment. It's back in February, Danny, since he last struck, and he needs that barren run to end. Remember, there's no Charlie Austin at the moment. He's suspended, but he's injured anyways. Probably going to be out for 2 months. Anyway, here it's Boufal on the attack. Boufal plays the ball to McQueen. McQueen crosses into the United penalty area, and it's easily cleared by Lindelof, taken up by Mata. Mata still inside his own half. Good play by the Spaniard. Finally, the captain of the day, Pogba. Pogba plays it away towards the far side of the field. Brought under control by Mkhitaryan, supported by Shaw, who's halfway inside the Southampton half. Shaw cuts in field, plays it back to Pogba, 35 yards from goal, drills a cross-field ball to Mata. Great control by Mata onto his left foot. There's a cross in, and Lukaku waits the opportunity, heads it over the crossbar, should have headed in.
I'm not sure he should have headed in. He should have probably hit the target from that distance. Great ball from Paul Pogba. Incredible ping out wide. Mata brought it under control instantly. Thought he was going to lay it back to Ashley Young, but didn't. Cut back onto his left foot, whipped it towards the near post. Lukaku's there. He's got to hit the target. Got to make the goalkeeper make a save from that position at least.
4 minutes gone here at Old Trafford in Five Live's latest Coventry. Let me remind you of the Premier League results from earlier in the day in alphabetical order. Bournemouth 2, Everton 1. Chelsea 5, Stoke 0. Chelsea up to second place in the Premier League. Huddersfield 0, Burnley 0. Liverpool 2, Leicester 1. Newcastle and Brighton drew 0-0. And Swansea, 2 late goals to come from behind to beat Watford at Vicarage Road. Here's Lukaku. Lukaku surrounded by Southampton players. It's played away in the direction of Boufal. Taken up now by Tadic. To Boufal once more. And Boufal running towards the right-hand side. Oh, that was a soft free kick awarded by the referee, Craig Paulson. Free kick to Southampton. Just about 6 yards over the halfway line to the right of the centre circle. And Ward-Prowse plays it back into Højbjerg. And now it's on the left-hand side with McQueen. Chosen at full-back today ahead of Target. Now it's back to Yoshida, the Southampton captain. Taken up by Romeo. Romeo now toward Prowse. Out it goes to the right hand side, and it's drilled forward toward Shane Long. Long chases after it, hustles the defender, who has to put the ball out for a throw in to Southampton. Well, they haven't been afraid to get on the front foot here, Southampton, in these opening 5 or 6 minutes here at Old Trafford. Manchester United 0, Southampton 0. Another massive crowd at Old Trafford. 75,000, something like that. Throw-in taken by Southampton. And well, then they conceded possession. They might win it back though. Edge of the penalty area. Some pressure put on the defender. Shaw equal to it, and it's behind for a goal kick. Goal kick to Manchester United at the Stretford end. De Gea to take it, and he plays it short. And now it's on to Pogba. Pogba holds off that challenge. Pogba inside the United half, swings the ball to the left to Jones, and on from Jones to the far side of the field. Manchester United in possession. Nice touch to the left, and Shaw surges forward. He's already made about 30 yards. Shaw doesn't cross first time, but he plays it back to Lingard. And now Lingard looking for a 1-2, doesn't come off. The ball still around the edge of that Southampton penalty area, and then the clearance runs to Tadic. Only Long is ahead of him. Tadic keeps the ball though, running away and taking Matic with him towards the far side, the Southampton right. Feeds it forward to the edge of the penalty area to Shane Long, who turns it inside, plays it back, and now it's into the penalty area. There's no offside flag. It's a great chance for Southampton. Here's a shot, driven in. Great save! Great save by De Gea. Then a Southampton player was in the vicinity, but he was offside clearly.
Really messy from Manchester United. Incredible save from David De Gea in the end as the cross came in. It was half deflected out, the cross. It was a really good run in behind. Boufal on the far side cuts it back to the edge of the area. And then, well, and the linesman's got this completely wrong. I'm not 100% sure about the law here, Alan, but he was off the pitch as the ball was played, and then he came back onto the pitch.
I'm not sure, Danny, but I think that makes him offside.
Because we've seen in the past where players have stepped into the net, so they're not actually on the field of play, so they wouldn't be offside. Not quite sure, and someone needs to get the rule book out. But I mean, had he have scored, that would be a very, very debatable one. Because when the shot came back in from the it was a great save initially from De Gea, and then Boufal coming back onside or coming back onto the pitch, could have had a tap in.
Well, we've got a break and play here because Lukaku has picked up an injury. I'm not quite sure how. I don't think it was the challenge made on the player.
Clash of heads, I think.
Clash of heads.
Yeah, he's gone down and holding his head.
Well, it was Hoot who challenged him. I don't think there was anything malicious there. They brought on the stretcher. I'm not sure that Lukaku will need to come off, but they're preparing to make a change if necessary. Manchester United.
Rashford's warming up very, very vigorously. Top is off. He's only got a bib on at the moment. The initial sign was make a substitution very, very quickly, and I think that's why he's fully stripped, ready to go. Lukaku is still laid out completely flat at the moment, and of course, in this day and age, so careful with any type of head injury. Yeah.
And only those who are surrounding Lukaku at the moment, in the middle of the Southampton half, will know. They might require the stretcher in the end. Well, certainly Mourinho is calling Rashford to him.
Doesn't look good, Alan.
No, it doesn't.
In all honesty, there's no immediate panic. from the medical staff that are on there at the moment. Nobody's sort of frantic. You know, he seems to be okay, but it looks like he may well have been knocked out. It's difficult for us to see. There's people crowded around him. I'm suspecting maybe he's got a little bit of concussion. They might be thinking about putting a neck brace on and just making sure that obviously he's as good as he can possibly be before they move him.
Well, Rashford is completely stripped off now and is being given instruction. Should he replace Lukaku? Meantime, let's nip off to Bristol City Wolves. Ross Eaton.
No goals yet, but a purposeful start from the Robins against opponents who have not lost in 10. Wolves keeper Ruddy acrobatically tipped wide a Patterson header, which was goal bound. 9 minutes gone. Bristol City 0, Wolves 0.
Still, Lukaku is lying on his back. They're being very, very careful with him, and he's surrounded not only by medical staff but by concerned Manchester United players. I mean, Ibrahimovic is not on the bench. He would have been an obvious change, wouldn't he?
Well, he's not available, so that's not going to happen.
Well, I know that. What I mean is he was left out, and it's not that he's injured, Danny.
Well, I can't believe that. If Zlatan was fit enough, he would be on the bench. You know, when you go through that, there are some young players on there. He would be there if he was available, I believe. Rashford, Martial, either can come on. Rashford's been dying for an opportunity to play through the middle. This might be that chance. And again, you know, Lukaku has been struggling with a little bit of form. Rashford comes in. We've seen him before. Very, very effective starting. But I think through the middle, maybe adding that little bit of extra pace, quick fleet-footedness might cause Southampton 1 or 2 problems.
Well, the hold-up has been quite a few minutes long so far, and they're very concerned with Lukaku, particularly about his head and neck. There was a clash of heads. There was nothing deliberate about it. That
not in the slightest, Alan. I think as he fell, Alan, sometimes that fall, as you fall, obviously, if you're unconscious, you've got no sort of way of bracing yourself as you hit the floor. And of course, he's a big guy, big lad, as we know. I think as he's hit the floor, that may well have jarred his neck, and that's where the concern is at the moment.
Yeah, and even though the temperature came up a little bit today in Manchester, it wasn't remotely as cold as it was yesterday. The players are now moving around, jogging around, trying to keep some warmth. We're in darkness, of course, other than the floodlights, and there is a chill in the air courtesy of a very stiff wind around these parts. But Lukaku will not be taking any further part in this game. I didn't look at my watch when he went down because I wasn't immediately concerned that it would be a lengthy injury, Danny, but it must be about 5 minutes now.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, it's a huge shame. You just hope that it's nothing too serious, yes. And a lot of this is precautionary. I'm sure if he's had a little bit of concussion, he's jolted his neck as he's landed, and you've got to hope at best that it's a little bit sore, very, very tender. Of course, concussion, he has to come off, or should come off anyhow, with the rules in place that they are now.
The Dutch defender for Southampton, Hoot, with the clash of heads, he's just come up towards Lukaku to see how he is, but it's clear he will not take any further part in the game. He's been strapped onto a stretcher, and there must be at least half a dozen medical staff around the player. Pogba and Mata.
To be fair, it's going to take a few stretcher bearers to lift him up.
Goodness gracious, he's a big lad, isn't he? And rightly, he's getting massive applause around Old Trafford as he's stretchered off. Rashford will replace him, but it's a blow, not just in terms of the game for Manchester United, but it's a blow to the player, and it's a blow to Mourinho for the next few weeks, presumably. But we don't know the extent of this injury. He's being stretchered.
Just interesting, Alan. He's gone off with a mask on, with an oxygen mask, if you like, just maybe helping him to breathe, maybe take a little bit of the pain away. So maybe it is quite serious.
Well, we hope our concern is misplaced and that he is fine and will recover quickly. But the alteration is after 13 minutes officially. But we've had at least a hold up there for 6-7 minutes even. Rashford is on for Manchester United, replacing Lukaku. And here's a free kick. It's about 40 yards from goal. And Mkhitaryan is there, so too is Mata. Mata plays it left-footed into the penalty area, but it wasn't particularly well aimed. It was behind Lindelöf, and it's behind for a goal kick to Southampton.
This is tricky for the players, for both sets of players now. It's almost like the game has got to restart. Any sort of rhythm, anything that had happened up until now is almost now forgotten, and they've got to restart, get into that way of playing yet again. And of course there'll be one or two players out there just a little bit concerned. The likes of Pogba, very obviously good friends with Lukaku. That might be playing on his mind slightly.
It was a foul challenge on Young, but it's a free kick to Manchester United. I thought Southampton had started quite well, Danny. I don't know if you agree.
I think that's why this break might be a problem for them. It's just an opportunity for Mourinho to have a chat, have a word with a few of his players. You know, they kept the match ball, passed it around a little bit. The one half chance for Lukaku, but before he went off. But I think United now, I think they'll now start to exert a little bit of control in this game.
Well, here's Lindelof, the Swede, signed for 40 million from Benfica. Finding Young. Young tried to dance between two Southampton players and was brought down. And it's a free kick. There's a sending off at Bristol City. Ross Eaton.
Yes, it's still goalless, but the Championship leaders Wolves are down to 10 men. Danny Bart with a strong challenge on Hordal Magnussen. The referee reached for the red card. 15 minutes gone. The leaders are down to 10 men. Bristol City 0, Wolves 0.
Well, Manchester United know all about the difficulties faced by teams visiting Bristol City. There's a good cross into the Southampton 6-yard box, and it's put behind for safety reasons by Saints. Had United been attacking either near post or far post, that could have been the opening goal in the game.
Fabulous ball in from Luke Shaw. Played a little 1-2 on the edge of the box, got down to the ball and whipped it across to face a goal, just along the 6-yard line. Nobody really gambled. And in the end, McQueen, he panicked a little bit. He could have easily had a touch and put it out for a corner.
Mata will take the corner from this near side, the right, but he plays it in left-footed, in towards the goal. Well defended by Southampton, though the ball is still around their penalty area. Mata again, another low cross into the penalty area, headed clear, and now there's a chance on the break for Højbjerg. He needed support there. There were lots of red shirts around him, and they take it off him. Here's Paul Pogba, back to the halfway line, and now taken up by Matic. Matic just taps the ball to his right, to Jones, and Jones drills it through the centre circle to Young. Yeah, I'm still getting used to Young playing as a right back as opposed to a wide attacking player, but presumably Mourinho gives him every opportunity to go forward in an attacking manner. Lindelof onto the far side, and Matic finds Shaw. Shaw with Lindegaard nearby. Shaw didn't get the pass right, but he gets the ball back. Finds Pogba. Pogba chips it forward towards Rashford inside the penalty area. Rashford wins the ball at the second attempt. It's taken him wide. He turns away from the defender. Checks onto his right foot. Crosses, takes a deflection. Almost fell to Mata. Mata claims handball against the defender. Referee wasn't convinced. Shane Long chases the ball hit upfield. Long chases after it. Wins the ball, and I think he was pushed over there. He was, and it's a free kick.
Fabulous play from Shane Long. Chasing a lost cause. Gave Lindelof probably 4 or 5 yards, but caught him up. Managed to nick in front of him. And then Lindelof, I think, a little bit annoyed that Shane Long had done that to them. Embarrassed him for pace, really. Just gave him a little nudge, and as soon as Shane Long felt that, he went down. Clever play from Shane Long.
His goals are scarce or non-existent at the moment, but never his work rate. So it's a free kick in a good position. Ward-Prowse is there, so too is Tadic. The ball is 2 yards to the left of the penalty area, the United penalty area, as Southampton look at it. Now, Hood is up inside the penalty area, the tall central defender. Lots of red shirts back in defensive position. Ward-Prowse plays it in towards the near post, and De Gea plays safety first by fisting it clear. Both fists making contact and putting the ball behind for a corner.
Ward-Prowse tried to be clever. Everybody was expecting the cross into the box, and he tried to just whip it in at the near post, but De Gea was equal to it.
Ward-Prowse to take the corner at the Stratford end of Old Trafford, away to our left, and he'll play it in right-footed, and played it in short, gets it back. This time the angle's better, he thinks. Plays it deep, looking for Hood, and it was a defensive header by Matic, puts the ball behind for another corner.
Lukaku going off just seems to have disrupted Manchester United in the last 5 minutes since the restart. They've put a few crosses into the box from an attacking point where You know, you've now got very small players in there, and even defensively. Obviously, they don't have the strength of Lukaku's heading ability either.
Hood and Yoshida wait. The cross is delivered towards the near post, and it was well defended. Headed clear by Manchester United. They can counter-attack here. Oh, that's great work by Rashford, who was being pulled back. Still fed the ball to the left-hand side. United on the attack. Cross was poor, though. Ahead of two red shirts, charging into the penalty area, and it's behind for a goal kick.
Wasted in the end from Mkhitaryan. Fabulous counter-attack. Marcus Rashford, absolutely brilliant. Picked the ball up, drove at the Southampton defence right through the centre of the pitch, made the run from the edge of his own 18-yard box, held off two players. I thought he was going to slip in. Oh no, he didn't. He should have slipped him in a little bit earlier, and then by the time it got out wide to Mkhitaryan, puts it in with his left foot, and it's 4 or 5 yards ahead. The ball was to play Lingard in, down the right-hand side, in the inside channel, and he would have been in on goal.
Now here's Shane Long, running down the Southampton left. Young intercepts and puts the ball out of play. Throw into Southampton. Well, United have carried more attacking threat. There was that good shot that they had to save, but I suppose territorially, Southampton are equal to United at the moment. They've got this throw in halfway inside the United half, taken by McQueen, and it goes back to McQueen from Tadic, and now it's back to Hoot. Hoot sweeps it to Yoshida, and Yoshida on the edge of the centre circle for Southampton. Back to Hoot. Yoshida once more. Well, they don't have a marked physical presence up front at the moment, United. Lukaku would have provided that, of course, but they've still got talent without question. You know, Mata, Mkhitaryan behind Rashford and Lingard. Here's Boufal. Boufal did well, eluded two challenges, and that's taken up by Romeo. Romeo moves over the halfway line, right at the centre circle. Romeo slips the pass through to Ward-Prowse. Good play from Southampton in towards Shane Long. Good defending by Jones, putting the ball behind for a necessary corner.
Really good defending from Jones. Bailed out Lindelof again, who doesn't look comfortable. I mean, if Shane Long can get himself isolated with Lindelof, I think he will create 1 or 2 chances for them.
So Ward-Prowse to take this corner. Yet another corner for Southampton. From the right, at the Stretford end. And Yoshida and Hoot wait, ready to make a charge towards this corner. Stevens is up, he's tall as well. Played in, and goodness gracious, Hoot practically unmarked on the edge of the 6-yard box, heads wide, well wide. A comment from Danny in a moment, but it's full time at Twickenham. Sonia McLaughlin.
Quins 50, Saints 21, a day to forget for Northampton. 3 tries plastering over deep cracks, and a defeat that will raise questions about Dylan Hartley's England captaincy in front of Eddie Jones. It's an 11th defeat in a row, and Alan Gaffney, new coach, can't arrive quickly enough. Quins cashing in with 7 tries, Kerr and Visser with 2 each. Quins 50, Saints 21.
Danny, what did you think about that chance for Hoot?
Oh, it was a really good opportunity. It was a great ball whipped in. He did very, very well. He lost Matic, of all people. He stole 2 yards on him, but he just got his timing all wrong. 6-7 yards out, pretty much a free header. He's got to hit the target, but the contact wasn't enough. It's almost like he just tried to glance it in the corner. Just put your head through it. You know, head it back from where it came from towards the goal, get the power that way, and they could have been 1-0 up.
We've already heard about a red card for the championship leaders Wolves at Bristol City. What news now, Ross Heaton?
Well, the Wolves boss Nuno has been sent to the stands for his protests against the referee, and 10-man Wolves have gone close to breaking the deadlock. Barry Douglas has just crashed a free kick off the post. 23 minutes gone, Bristol City 0, Wolves 0.
Thanks, Ross. We've played 23 minutes. I say we played 23 minutes, but there was a considerable hold-up and there was no action because of the treatment necessary for Lukaku, who subsequently was stretchered off. So United have made the change. They brought on Rashford for Lukaku, and it's still 0-0 here at Old Trafford. Here's Pogba, a few yards outside the Southampton penalty area, but his pass forward was cleared by the Saints. The lines are open, by the way, for 606. The number to call is 08085 909 693. Jason and Robbie will be here at half time, ready to take over the conclusion of this commentary. 0-0, and Southampton are doing well here, far better than many will have expected, Danny.
The thing is, Manchester United, they don't play as everybody seems to want them to play in this outrageously attacking style, just attack like we've seen, over the years. It's not Mourinho's way. He will be patient, and because of that, it gives the opposition a chance to build into the game.
Mata switch flanks. He pops up on the left-hand side now, passes into Mkhitaryan, into groans of disappointment. Loose pass straight into Southampton's possession. Goes forward to Shane Long, and he was pretty isolated. Did as well as he could do. He's won a throw-in for his team around about the halfway line. So it's not the best opening quarter of the game for Manchester United. Losing a key player through injury, and they're obviously concerned about whether it's concussion or whatever with Lukaku. They were very, very careful in taking him off on the stretcher, and they've had a couple of chances, but not dominating the game in the way that Jose Mourinho would have wished for. Remember that earlier Chelsea beat Stoke by 5-0, and Chelsea have gone ahead of Manchester United in the Premier League table. They moved on to 55 points. That's only 13 behind Manchester City, who play tomorrow. Also tomorrow, by the way, another commentary on 5 Live. West Bromwich Albion against Arsenal, 4 o'clock kickoff. And there's another United player's gone down. And Mkhitaryan, in fact, there are 2 red bodies down on the turf at the moment. Mkhitaryan is climbed. I think the referee may have produced a yellow card there, but I missed who it was for.
Luke Shaw got caught. Mkhitaryan was caught initially, and it was coming in. It was Højbjerg came in, just lunged across him. And I think the fact that there was 2 fouls in quick succession made the referee's mind up.
Yep. So 26 minutes gone here on 5 Live. Manchester United 0, Southampton 0. Here's Lindelof taking up possession, short of the halfway line, right of the centre circle, plays it through the middle. Rashford's up third, hits a defender, rebounds to Rashford. Rashford still going, finally tackle, ball squirts away, Matic shoots, blocked by the goalkeeper. McCarthy made the save.
Glorious opportunity for Manchester United. It hit the back of Hoyt as the ball was played over the top. Looked like Rashford was going to be through, and as it dropped, he just paused, maybe tried to bring the ball back onto his right foot. Had he hit it with his left, every chance that it might have gone in. The follow-up from Juan Mata is on target. Goalkeeper McCarthy does very, very well, saves with his feet, and then gets a little bit fortunate. The ricochet from his own defender falls back into his arms.
We'll bring you word of any news, of course, involving Lukaku as soon as we get it. Manchester United having made an early change in the game. He was actually substituted in the 13th minute, but he was prostrate for 6 or 7 minutes before that, the United striker. Now here's Matic. Matic just slips a simple pass to Jones, inviting him to run over the halfway line. He finds Shaw on the far side, the fullback, and it goes to Mata. It's Young who's down the right flank for United. The ball in the central position with Matic though, and Matic plays it to the left. Mkhitaryan checks onto his right foot, sweeps the ball in low, and it's almost like a pass back to the goalkeeper McCarthy.
I think Manchester United, obviously their game plan was to get the ball out wide, whip balls into the box, obviously for the aerial ability of Romelu Lukaku. Unfortunately, he's had to go off with that injury. So United, I think they've got to adapt a little bit, and the players have got to understand that. This is not down to the manager. Players have got to use all their knowledge and experience to realise that their main big striker isn't on the pitch, and they'll have to create chances in a different way.
We're hearing that the United medical staff are continuing to assess Lukaku here at Old Trafford. So it isn't as if at the moment they've taken him to hospital. But we wish him well, of course. United 0, Southampton 0. 28 minutes gone in the first half. There'll be considerable added time at the end of the 45. It's Matic, still inside his own half, plays it to his left to Shaw, and Shaw under a little bit of pressure, gives the ball away to Long. Long got a shove there. That was an important shove from Jones, and then goodness gracious, Lindelof was put under pressure, but he's helped out by Young, and Young plays it forward. United are not playing that well, and too many unforced errors. But here's Mata, who doesn't make many errors. He gives the ball to Pogba on to the right side, and Young approaching the penalty area, the Saints penalty area. Checks once, checks twice, checks again. Now crosses right foot, great cross in, and Rashford jumped. Must have mistimed it slightly because he couldn't get the header in towards goal. It's gone wide, so wide it's out for a throw-in.
The only thing I can think why he's mistimed that so badly, I think Yoshida jumps in front of him. Apart from that, it should have been a clean header on goal. Maybe the goalkeeper sort of flung himself towards it, missed it completely. Again, perhaps that was a reason why he mistimed his header. But if he'd have timed it right, the goal was gaping because the goalkeeper, McCarthy, had made a flying attempt to stop it, missed it. Anything on target would have ended up in the net.
Buffal, lovely flick forward towards Tadic, anticipated well though by the United defender, Lindelöf, who gets it back to De Gea, and De Gea sweeps it upfield on the halfway line. Certainly Tadic's presence is helping Shane Long. He's not quite as isolated as he has been in previous quote lone striking appearances for Saints. Now it's back to Hoot, and Hoot has won a throw-in on the near side of the field off Lingard. Throw-in to be taken by McQueen, the left full-back today for Southampton. Hoot's available, McQueen's stolen a few yards. Craig Pawson says get back, and he does as he's told. And now of course he steps forward a couple of yards. There's at least 4 or 5 paces before he takes the throw, and the referee let him get away with it, and it's in United's possession anyway. Jones to Shaw, and Shaw sweeps it to Mkhitaryan down the left flank. Mkhitaryan controls it, then he's tackled and he loses it rather easily. Wins it back though, may lose it again, does lose it again, and it's Ward-Prowse to the far side. Gets the ball back, plays it back to his goalkeeper McCarthy, who clears it first time straight under the forehead of Matic, but he directs it only to Yoshida. Yoshida to Hood, the Dutch central defender, and now it's with McQueen. Back to Hood and into Yoshida, captain today of Southampton. Hood once more, no great pressure on the central defenders. Now it's with McQueen, left side. Buffal wanted it played in his direction, the fullback ignored him. McQueen went forward, then he's tackled a yard outside the United penalty by Mata, loses it. Mata finds Young over the halfway line, and Young just slips the ball into Pogba. Pogba's been very quiet actually since Lukaku went off. Here's Shaw, leaving it to Mkhitaryan on the far side. It's back, and United rather ponderous in build-up. Mkhitaryan to Pogba, Mkhitaryan again, and now Shaw, but they haven't moved a yard forward, just exchanging passes amongst themselves. Now Lingard to Mata, back it goes to Pogba. Pogba looks for Lingard inside the penalty, brings it down, claims for handball from 2 United players. Again the referee Craig Pawson ignores it. Couldn't possibly see that, not in our position. We might get a replay, tiny monitor in front of us, we'll see later. But the United fans, certainly to the right, thought that was a handball, and Long hadn't anticipated that pass from Buffal. It's intercepted by Jones. Jones plays it back to De Gea, and De Gea clears it over the halfway line to Rashford, the substitute for Lukaku. Rashford cuts in field, running away from Hoot. Oh, the Dutch defender does well, gets in a late tackle, wins the ball back for Southampton.
Rashford looks bright, looks sharp, and what I really like about him, when he gets the ball, he drives at people, he commits people, he's trying to make something happen. Still haven't seen that possible handball. I mean, 1 or 2 players appealed for it. Of course, all the United fans certainly appealed for it. The referee's in a good position, but we still haven't seen a replay yet.
Yeah, and there have been a couple of opportunities where normally television would have slotted in a replay, but they haven't. It's Manchester United 0, Southampton 0. On the watch, you've got 12 minutes to half time, but there'll be considerable added time.
Oh,
wow,
I've just seen it now. His arm is up, it's up high, it's...
Well, many referees would have given that. We don't know what Craig Pawson saw, but certain amount of discontent around Old Trafford. Southampton on the attack here. Boufal, long to his right. Boufal's running into the fence, faced by Young, into the penalty area. Boufal shoots slow. It hits Ashley Young's leg, rebounds to Boufal. Boufal to the left of the penalty, gets the cross in right-footed, didn't get enough on it. Shane Long was waiting, headed away by United, and then Romeo can't control that clearance, and it's out for a throw-in. Well, they are causing United problems in defence. Romeo takes the ball off Mata, but he ran it forward straight to Lindelöf, and the Swede gets it back to De Gea, and De Gea's clearance over the halfway line. Yoshida just, was he fortunate? Certainly hit his hand.
Well, for those obviously that watch it on Match of the Day tonight can make up their own minds, but it catches his arm. His arm's in a very unnatural position. He's like one of those cactuses with his arms out, almost, his arm at elbow at right angles, up in the air, away from his body, and it hits his arm. If the referee have given it, I think you'd have to understand and say, yes, I can see why he gave it.
Yeah. Match of the Day is on at 10:30 on BBC One tonight. Lots of interesting scorelines to reflect on, notably Bournemouth beating Everton 2-1, Swansea coming behind to beat Watford, and the wins for Chelsea 5-0 against Stoke, Liverpool 2-1 against Leicester, and there were 2 0-0 draws, Newcastle and Brighton, Huddersfield and Burnley.
Well, I'm sure Robbie and Jason at half-time will be hearing from a lot of Stoke fans, concern at Stoke and for Mark Hughes, surely.
Boufal on the attack, just flicks the ball into the United penalty area, headed clear by Jones and then hoofed clear by Young, the right fullback. But United may be losing this ball again. They have lost it again. It squirts back into Southampton half. Look how many players Southampton have committed inside United territory. That's certainly a change apart from the game at Wembley against Tottenham. Maybe they learned something from that. Thrown on the far side to be taken by the right fullback Stevens, who's 30 yards over the halfway line. In the half at the Stretford end, the end that Southampton are attacking in this first half. And they've done a fair amount of attacking, though he's taken a long while to take the throw in. Finally does so, and I think they've won another one about 5 yards further upfield. And look, they've only left Hoot back on the halfway line. Mind you, United have got everybody back in almost defensive positions, but now they get the ball. They might counter-attack here. Lingard turns away. Mkhitaryan to his right. Rashford ahead of him down the left. It wasn't a good ball from Lingard, and it's cleared out of play by Southampton.
Manchester United, as you say, playing very, very deep at the moment, looking to play on the counter-attack. But up until now, just the one shot on target. That little left footer from Juan Mata that was scrambled away in the end.
There were two headers, the Lukaku one before, Lukaku's header over the crossbar, and then Rashford with a header that was very wide. It actually went out for a throw-in. But aside from that, there's been little threat from the home side. Here's Jones. United 0, Southampton 0. And now it's Matic. Over the halfway line, then taps it back into his own half to Jones. Jones to Mata. And Mata, much the most inventive player for Manchester United, finds Young down the right side. On to Mkhitaryan. Back to Young. Young to Mkhitaryan again. I'm not sure he was expecting that pass back, but he kept possession. Places back to Matic, and Matic shoots very high into the end away to our right.
Looks like Manchester United, they get frustrated. And you just have to start to wonder, when you look at what Manchester City are doing across, the other side of town. We're just in another replay of the handball, or alleged handball that could have been given. I mean, his hand is up. It certainly hits his forearm about shoulder high. His arms are out. Be interesting. So we haven't quite seen the referee's eye view from that and his position. We've just had sort of an extreme close-up. But just getting Manchester United, I just wonder if they work on.
Shaw crosses from the left, hits a defender, goes behind for a corner.
If they work on attacking and creating opportunities, clearly that's what Manchester City do all the time. Yes, Manchester United will work on defensive things, but I'm not sure they work on how to create chances.
Corner taken quickly. Mata plays it on, pulled back by Matic, but it comes off a defender and it's behind for another corner.
I just wonder if Mourinho says, look, you're all good players. just go out there and create. You know, just you can go and play free and do what you think is right. And maybe they just need a bit more than that.
Mkhitaryan's corner to Mata. Mata's cross cleared by Southampton, knocked in by Mkhitaryan again, one bounce and into the hands of McCarthy. Well, I would have thought Maurizio Pellegrino would be very happy with the side that he's seeing today in Southampton colours.
Just keep an eye on Rashford, Alan, as well. He's just hobbling a little bit at the moment.
Well, there's the goalkeeper's clearance, crosses the halfway line. Buffal, then challenged by
Young. That's harsh.
Oh, well, referee thinks Young used his hand, or was it his foot?
I think he was trying to say studs were showing, but he nicked the ball. I have to say, Ashley Young, he's done fantastic, hasn't he? You know, he's played wide of a three up front, he's played wing back, he's played right side, left side. Unbelievable sort of season that he's having and playing every single position. Great shift, great attitude.
Yeah, and you know, it's like Valencia before him, you know, converted to right back, really brilliant. Great versatility. Southampton in possession at the moment. Buffal, who's had a decent first half, jinks his way down the left side. He's tackled by Lingard. It hits Buffal and it's out for a Manchester United throw-in, which Young will take inside the final 5 minutes of the first 45 before we enter considerable added time. And we will keep you informed of any news regarding Lukaku, who had to be stretched off in the early stages of the game. And Mourinho glancing back to his staff and raising a query, turning his back in the game momentarily. Now he's looking at what's happening. Southampton play it into the middle of the United half, won by Young, played on to Pogba. Pogba tackle, ball's out of play. Pogba's going to take the throw in, or will he leave it to Young? He leaves it to Young. He's a big fella too, Pogba, isn't he? Goodness, strong.
But as you said, he's been quiet. I just wonder, very, very close to Romelu Lukaku. I just wonder if he's thinking, is he okay? What's happened to him? Has that just taken a little bit of an edge off his game? Because he's not been the normal Paul Pogba that we expect, has he? Not been that driving force in midfield.
I assume, Danny, as a player, you can't just focus entirely on what's happening when a player's gone off in a serious condition.
No, I think you'd like to think, yes, most of the time you can put a lot of issues to one side and get on with your game. But when, you know, clearly they're very, very good friends, they're very, very close, you know, and it goes off on a stretcher, you know, with a bag over his face, oxygen mask, whatever, there will be slight concerns. But then that should be down to the managers and the staff, maybe to see that and get a message on and say, look, he's okay.
There's Rashford, United on the attack here, promising attack. Ball played in, too long for Lingard. Collected though by Pogba. Pogba slips it in. Mata with his back to goal at the moment, but he plays it back to Matic. United retaining possession. It's fed to Shaw. Shoot Shaw there, screaming from the terraces, not the terraces, you know, from the seats. Former terraces. Now Mata crosses, headed away by Hood and further clear by Southampton. 3 minutes of the first 45 remaining, and well, the referee reacted there.
He reacted to the crowd
very late. I thought it was the crowd. He's given a free kick to United. I think he glanced towards his assistant. Yeah. The assistant hadn't flagged, so he gave
the crowd hadn't appealed for that, he wouldn't have given that free kick, I don't think.
Well, that was a loose ball in from Shaw. Cleared by Southampton. Long's rather isolated at the moment, trying to put some pressure on Jones. Jones ignores that pressure, plays it back to De Gea.
But again, though, Alan, just before that, the United attack, Mkhitaryan down that left-hand side, great position to cross the ball, and just overhits the cross. You know, just leave it in an area where someone can go and head it. Trying to whip it in with too much pace, it has to be absolutely perfect.
Brilliant pass by Pogba to Mkhitaryan. Back now to Mata. Mkhitaryan once more, left of the penalty, onto his right foot, plays it in, into the headed wide. Lingard might have scored.
Good opportunity for Lingard. It's not the easiest chance. He's just beyond the near post, and as Mkhitaryan checks back onto his right foot, whips it in low. He's about 10 yards out from goal, and he sort of has to lean and stoop backwards to try and glance it on target. And maybe, well, second, third time your Manchester United header doesn't quite get enough purchase on it, and it goes agonally about a foot past the far post.
Well, I don't know what Tadic was playing out there. It was a goal kick awarded by the referee, and Tadic, you know, lashed a stationary ball towards the crowd. and has been booked. Presumably that's interpreted as time wasting by the referee, and I don't blame him. So it's the second booking in Southampton colours, but now they've got a free kick. And Pogba was actually sitting on the Southampton player, was sort of pushed
Just
up.
like to see this again, Alan. I'm not sure if there was a little bit of afters with this one. Juan Mata's gone in to have a look. Just have a look, see if Pogba just leaves his foot in the sort of the second challenge. No, I don't think he does. No, he looks to go over top of Højbjerg.
It is nevertheless a free kick to Southampton. Inside the United half. Højbjerg's going to take it. In the 45th minute of the first half. Pronounced added time to come. Now that was won by Mkhitaryan, then given away. Very loose pass from Mkhitaryan. Romeo picks it up. Forward to Boufal. Boufal has been quite difficult for United to deal with. He spins away from Matic. Plays the ball to the left side to McQueen. On to Boufal once more. Edge of the penalty. Almost got that pass right. Still not cleared. 6 added minutes. There's a sort of minimum figure in my mind. But we're into it. And we'll hear from the presenters of 606, Jason and Robbie at half-time. The lines are open. 08 085 909 693. Here's Mata from Manchester United. Still being held 0-0 to Matic. Matic shot straight at the goalkeeper. Simple save.
Matic shooting from distance. I know he scored one or two absolute screamers in the past, but it's not really his forte, is it? But again, on that far side, Mkhitaryan in a really good position. Looks to put in the left-footed cross and just overhits it by, not just by a little bit, by sort of 15-20 yards.
Remember that United have drawn successive Premier League games at Leicester and then here against Burnley. They can't afford a third one because the pressure, of course, is being constantly applied, not just by Manchester City, who are skating away with the Premier League title, but also by Chelsea and Liverpool in the run for top 4 places, and that's wasted by Rashford. Maybe he meant it as a cross towards Mkhitaryan, but it was more of a shot in the end. It was wide.
Just appears that Manchester United in the final third, when they're putting crosses in, are trying to whip it in with so much pace. Talked about that earlier, it has to be inch perfect. Sometimes you just put it into an area. Juan Mata's very, very good at doing that. He's sort of that creative player, a little bit like Ozil does for Arsenal. Just put the ball into the right space. Don't hit it too hard. Give the players the opportunity to go and attack the ball and adjust their run to the ball.
Mata's one of my favourite players.
Oh, he's brilliant.
I don't quite understand why successive managers here at Old Trafford haven't quite given him the prominence he deserves.
I think he's in the mould of Ozil, isn't he? He's that type of player.
He's excellent. Here's Lingard running forward, but he runs into Yoshida.
No, he's not blisteringly quick. He's not a tackler. He's not going to win the ball back. But give him the ball.
Mind.
Yeah.
In his mind.
His use of the ball is excellent.
Now there's a late free kick awarded for a foul on Boufal. Well, they're not enjoying this first half, Manchester United, not least because of course they lost Lukaku to an injury. We don't quite know the extent of it, but he was stretchered off, and after a considerable amount of attention, which must make you worried about what has happened to him. So they're taking their time here, Southampton. Arguably they're wasting time here, but you know, going in 0-0 at half time is no mean feat at Old Trafford if they can manage it. Hood, the central defender, whacks the free kick towards Shane Long. Long and Jones were sort of holding hands there. Neither of them made contact, and the ball's cleared finally over the halfway line. Knocked back upfield by Yoshida, headed back by Manchester United. That's running out of play on the far side of the field. We've just got 3 minutes of the added 6 remaining. I wasn't expecting this. I really wasn't. And it's not just because it's 0-0, Danny. I didn't see Southampton with their recent form managing to be so effective in the opponent's half. And they have carried threat. It's headed towards Tadic. Falls to Pogba from the headed clearance by Manchester United. Pogba as well. Feeds the ball to the right to Young. And on to Pogba. And in comes Hood. And Pogba flicked it past him.
Should be a foul, that.
Well, I thought he was impeded. But neither the assistant nor the referee agreed. And it's out for a throw into Southampton. It's half-time at Bristol City. Ross Eaton.
And the leaders' 10-game unbeaten run in real danger after going down to 10 men inside 20 minutes. Danny Bart's crunching challenge on Horden Magnusson was punished with a straight red. Wolves boss Nuno was sent to the stands shortly afterwards for his vehement protest. City have been toothless and a Patterson header was their best effort. Bristol City 0, Wolves 0.
We've still a couple of added minutes to get through. 0-0 here at Old Trafford. Manchester United and Southampton on 5 Live. The lines are open for 606 08 085 909 693. Jess Mohammed and Robbie Savage ready to take your calls and ready to talk to you at half time in this game. So a free kick to Southampton, and they've only got a little over a minute of the added time to survive. McCarthy, rather surprise choice ahead of Foster in goal for Southampton. From outside his penalty area, takes the free kick. Headed away by Jones. Mkhitaryan brings it down onto the grass, and that's a good ball to Lingard on the far side of the field. The two number 14s in opposition, Lingard and Romeo. Romeo tracking him, but Lingard plays it through. Rashford almost collected, went past one defender, but then ran into a second defender, and the ball squirts back to the goalkeeper McCarthy. No breakthrough for United so far. Ominous for their hopes. I don't think they've any realistic hopes of catching Manchester City. Nobody does, Danny, but they're still in a hunt for a top 4 place, which will be vital for them. Now here's Højbjerg to Ward Prowse. Ward Prowse swept it in field, intercepted by Matic, and Matic gets the ball forward. Now taken up by Pogba. Mata to the left side, and Shaw. Just seconds of added time remaining here at Old Trafford. The referee will know that. Here's Mata again. Back to Mkhitaryan. Mata once more on the left side. Into Matic, edge of the penalty area. And there is the half-time whistle blown by Craig Boston.
A lot of moans and groans from Manchester United fans. I think 1 or 2 boos is that ringing round as well. I think they've only had 2 shots on target. A couple of good headers as well where they should have hit the target. But apart from that, Manchester United, a little bit of a Christmas hangover, I think. Southampton have been decent after their recent form. They've been on the front foot. They've had a go, but equally only tested David De Gea just the once.
I'm just wondering if some of those boos were actually directed at the referee, because he blew the half-time whistle correctly on the 6 minutes, but while United were on the attack.
Mourinho's
complaining to the fourth official.
In heavy conversation, shall we say, with Bobby Madley as they walk down the tunnel.
Half-time, Manchester United 0, Southampton 0.
Indeed, thank you very much indeed to Alan and Danny. Back to you, Sue. A very good evening to you. We are taking your calls now for 606. We shall squeeze some callers in before we go back live to Old Trafford. If you'd like to be the first caller tonight, pick up the phone now and call 08085 909 693. Today's results in the Premier League: Bournemouth beating Everton by 2-1. Chelsea battering Stoke City 5-0. Huddersfield 0, Burnley 0. Liverpool 2, Leicester 1. Newcastle 0, Brighton 0. And Watford 1, Swansea 2. So we'll start taking your calls now. 08085 909 693 after the latest BBC News with Rob Watts.
More live Premier League football than anyone else. This is BBC 5 Live.
One person's been taken to hospital as the emergency services continue to tackle a fire in a tower block in Manchester city centre. It started on the 9th floor of the 12-storey building. People are being told to avoid the area in the city's northern quarter. Firefighters say it's under control. The number of politicians getting knighthoods in this year's New Year's honours has come in for criticism from Labour and the SNP. Serving and former MPs make up a quarter of the overall number. The Honours Committee is independent of the government. Police investigating an alleged terror plot in the run-up to Christmas have arrested a 5th man. The 21-year-old was detained in Sheffield last night. And a rally driver and a co-driver have died after a crash at a private event in Hampshire. They were taking part in the Loco 2 Stages rally at Bramley Camp near Basingstoke yesterday afternoon.
This is BBC 5 Live on digital, online, smartphone and tablet.
Main routes around the UK looking quite good this evening. Just in Derbyshire on the M1 southbound, we've got queuing traffic because of a multi-vehicle accident earlier on. Between junction 29 for Chesterfield and 28 for Alfreton, the congestion's as far as junction 29A for Markham Lane. Matrix signs are set to 40 miles an hour, but all the lanes are back open again. Rob Watts, 5 Live Travel.
The best live sport.
Coming up this January on 5 Live and 5 Live Sports Extra.
Australian Open Tennis, live from Melbourne.
Listen to this, everybody. Roger Federer is serving to win the Australian Open title.
One-day international cricket. England face Australia.
Around the wicket. Because it was short. Goes back. Oh, brilliant catch by Hales at square leg.
And the football continues with more live games, including the FA Cup third round.
That is the roar as the FA Cup third round gets underway.
January on 5 Live and 5 Live Sports Extra.
This is the UK's biggest football debate. This is 606 with Robbie Savage and Jason Mohammed on BBC 5 Live.
Yeah, so a very good evening to you. 08085 909 693 is our number. Robbie Savage, a very good evening to you. How are you, my friend?
Jason. Good, how are you?
Very good, thank you very much indeed. So what have you made of the first half?
As Danny said in commentary there, I thought United, Lingard's header should have scored. It's been quite dull, to be fair, that first half. Southampton doing a decent away performance. I still fancy United to nick one in the second half.
What do you make of Liverpool today, Rob?
Coming back, Salah, brilliant. Coming back from 1-0 down, Salah was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, Jason. For me, he's closely behind Kevin De Bruyne for Player of the Year so far.
Yeah, what a signing. And we are going to talk about Virgil van Dijk. 70-odd million quid for a defender.
Lots of money that for Virgil van Dijk, considering he's not been on the best of form this season at all. Another talking point, Jay, I watched Celtic Rangers today on TV.
At lunchtime.
I've got to say, I thought the standard was extremely poor. Wouldn't have looked out of place in the Championship, that. For me.
What?
Wouldn't have looked out of place in the Championship.
Championship games, Scottish Premiership games.
Yeah, I've seen better Championship games this season.
Are you saying that if Celtic and Rangers were playing
I'm saying,
in England, they'd be in the Championship?
Well, I don't know where they'd be. What I'm saying is the quality on the park, I've seen better games in the Championship this year.
Okay. 08085 909 693 if you want to come on the radio tonight and talk about Celtic and Rangers. First, let's go to the line, shall we? We've got Tim on the line. He's in Bristol. He's a Liverpool fan. Hi, Tim.
Evening, Jen.
Hey,
Hi,
good evening, Tim. So, Liverpool fan, what did you make of today?
Well, I listened to it on 5 Live, and I thought, it was a good game. We showed a lot of character going 1 goal down, coming back. Salah, like Robbie said, was absolutely brilliant. I mean, he misses quite a few chances, and he's already got 21 goals this season, or 23 goals, whatever it is. So I think we played well overall. My point is 2 things, really, about Van Dijk. So I was really surprised when we actually signed him. I thought, we'd lost the chance over the summer. I do think that we've paid an awful lot of money for him, and he's not a £75 million player. He was worth 60 million in the summer. All of a sudden, his value has gone up by 15 million, even though he's not played that well this season. But my point was that I think with Liverpool, it's got to be more than just one player with the defence. You saw today Matip made an individual error which led to a goal. I think we need to be looking at the whole defence. But Van Dijk's a good start. Robertson, I think, looks a pretty solid player at left back. He's good defensively going forward. It's good to see him getting a run in the team. But I think we need to look at how we play in terms of our defence. We haven't really got an out-and-out defensive midfielder to protect the defence. Henderson plays in that role quite a lot, but it isn't really his position. And I think we need to look at who's going to play alongside Van Dijk. Lovren doesn't look convincing. Matip doesn't look convincing. And we need to look at the whole team. The fullbacks push up massively, leave the defenders exposed. So I think we need to look at sort of the defence more broadly. And the second thing I was going to say, and I think it's kind of like illustrated by the game today, our game management isn't good, and it never really has been under Jurgen Klopp. We seem to have a plan A, which is to bomb forward and put pressure on teams. But we don't think about sort of how we're going to manage the game. Look what happened against Arsenal. We went 2-0 up, then nearly lost 3-2. We were 3-0 up against Sevilla at half-time in the Champions League earlier this season and somehow managed to draw 3-3. So I think, it seems like we have a plan B, but a plan A rather, but we don't seem to have a plan B.
No plan B, yeah.
Don't seem to know how to manage games.
Oh, we haven't got a 0.3. Wow, we've only got 5 minutes left.
Don't be rude. How many players do you think they need, Rob, in order for them to be serious title contenders? How many players?
I think a leader on the pitch. I would say a centre midfielder, no question about it. A goalkeeper. I think 2 centre halves. The big pressure now is on Virgil van Dijk, £75 million, and he's going to have to hit the ground running, Jay. He's going to have to, because people think now we've bought Van Dijk. I agree with the caller. Was it 60 million in the summer? Yeah. His value's gone up 15 million. Yes. Yeah. I think they need about 4 or 5. Even 6 players.
In order to be genuine title contenders.
Yes.
Yeah. OK, Liverpool fans, 08085 909 693. Tim in Bristol, thank you very much indeed. We'll go to Ross in Sheffield in just a moment, but we've been talking about Liverpool. Let's hear from a former Liverpool manager, Rafa Benitez, after Newcastle United's goalless draw with Brighton & Hove Albion.
I think that we didn't play as well as I wanted, but at the same time, we pushed in the second half harder, and the keeper was busier than our keeper, so he made a couple of good saves, but still we have to create more if we want to be sure that we can get 3 points in these kind of games.
Does it create more anxiety, the run you've been on, taking out the West Ham game? Does it cause more anxiety, particularly when you're at home, when you can't get that goal?
No, I think that the anxiety is coming because we have a young team, that not too many players they have experience in the Premier League, and then we have to cope with this pressure at the bottom of the table. That has to be tough, has to be difficult, and then we have to learn, we have to improve. And if we made mistakes, carry on and try again. It's not that we have to hide and then don't try. So it's just as simple as that. It will be a tough season, and we know it has to be like this, but not now, until the end.
I'm sure you're sick of answering this, but is there any prospect of you being able to get some firm transfer business done with the window opening on Monday?
At the moment, I don't know. So what we have to do is to prepare the game against Stoke, and after we will see where we are.
Rafa Benitez with Alistair Yeomans. They've won 1 game, Rob, since October the 22nd. 9 defeats, 2 draws, 1 win. I saw a bit of it today. It was pretty ugly.
Well, that's the big game, isn't it? Monday, Jason. Stoke against Newcastle. Huge game for both managers. Listen, I don't think either manager should lose their job. I'm sure Rafa 100% won. I'm not sure Sparky will. So that game's huge. The thing for Newcastle, they need a centre forward. They need to score goals. And I'm sure when 606 starts later, we may as well just tune into Radio Stoke, because I'm sure we're going to get Stoke fans moaning. Where were they last couple of weeks when Stoke got 4 points from 6?
Yeah.
I think what Mark Hughes has done, Jay, today, he's, the game on Monday against Newcastle is huge. Huge game for them. But listen, if you lose...
In fairness, though, they were pretty depleted today, Stoke City, weren't they? They were pretty depleted.
2 teenagers, he rested players. People were saying on my time now, why are some of the best players on the bench? Because he's prioritising, I think, the game on Monday against Newcastle.
Yeah, well, absolutely. So if we get Stoke City fans on tonight then...
The record isn't good, Jay, and results will dictate what happens to you in a Premier League job. I'm not for seeing managers get the sack. I know he's my mate, but I don't care. He'll be disappointed. Jay, Stoke City, where are they? 14th in the Premier League. This time in the last 4 years, they've been 13th, 11th, 10th, 13th.
So what you're saying, surely we can't have Stoke City fans on tonight saying Mark Hughes out simply because they were depleted, especially defensively.
Well, they got hammered today again, and they've conceded, 43 goals, something like that, and defensively they are very, very poor. No question about it.
I'll tell you what we should do. We should listen to Mark Hughes, because he says his squad very stretched at the moment.
Listen, we've had a period where we've had 4 games. If we win on Monday, we will have a Christmas period of 2 wins, a draw and a loss to Chelsea. So on that basis, I would think that would be a good return over the Christmas period. So I stand by it. It is what it is. We couldn't have gone into this game any stronger in defensive areas. I'm open to criticism, which I will be if we get beat on Monday. So be it. But I stand by the decision. Our record here isn't great. No. It never has been. I think I'm the only manager that's got a point here in the Premier League since Stoke have been in it, so I know how difficult it is. So our record wasn't there to be protected here. The key thing is that over this Christmas period we get a good return in terms of points on the board. At the moment, Are we ahead of where we thought we'd be? No, we're probably on track because we expected to beat West Brom. We've got a good point away from home. Did we expect to get anything out of this game? If we're honest, no.
It's massive now. On Monday, on New Year's Day, Stoke City taking on Newcastle.
If he gets hammered on Monday, Jay, he's under massive pressure. He's under pressure now, and I'm sure we all know that. But if he gets beat on Monday against Newcastle after, resting players today, he's under big pressure.
Yep. Okay. 08085 909 693. Stoke City fans, pick up the phone now and book your place in 606 when we return after the game finishes at Old Trafford. Let's go to Ross then. He's been hanging on a while. Hi, Ross.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi. Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah,
Off you go.
I'm talking through my headphones because my iPhone's played up a little bit. So
Okay.
that's done that easy.
Other phones are available. On you go.
Yeah, true. Right, quick question, Robbie. And Jason, I know you've never been a footballer, but you have your own opinion. Right, so Mahrez is leaving it, wants to leave, or at least he's actually playing for Leicester, unlike Terrahinos and Tevez's and your Payet who refuse to play until they leave. Question is, can we cope without Mahrez?
Can you cope without Mahrez? Good question, Robbie. Can they cope if they lose Mahrez?
I'm sure. Well, he's one of their most influential players. Look at Swansea. Could they cope without Sigurdsson and Llorente? The answer's been no. But I think Leicester, in Vardy, Gray's stepped up. He's done very well since he's come into the side. Mahrez is one of your best players. PFA Player of the Year a couple of years ago. You would always struggle without a player of that quality who can, go past people, who can create goals, who can score goals. So the answer would be you would obviously be a lesser team with him not in it, of course. But I'm sure that the scouting network will try and find somebody like that. Also, it's very difficult to find somebody like Mahrez.
No, also objectively, right? Objectively, and this might upset a few Leicester City fans. Given how good Riyad Mahrez has been, doesn't he deserve a move away to a bigger club? Doesn't he deserve that? Because you'd like to see Riyad Mahrez playing for a bigger club, wouldn't you?
Can Mahrez play for a bigger club than Leicester City? Yes, he can.
Yes, he
no
can.
question about it. Could he play in a top 6 side, which Leicester are now? Yeah. Yes, easily.
Okay, 08085 909 693 is the number to call. Let's go to Ross Heaton just very quickly. Good game in the Championship, Ross?
Not so far, just underway in the second half. It remains goalless, but 10-man Wolves are defending resolutely. They've taken off their top scorer Bonatini and put on Ryan Bennett to bolster their backline. Chances remain at a premium. Bristol City 0, Wolves 0.
It is a big game in the Championship.
The last caller was right. You haven't got a clue what you're talking about, Jay.
I just have one eye on it. I think, down to 10 men, Ashton Gate rocking, Bristol City against Wolverhampton Wanderers. It's got to be a good game. All right, then, if you want to call us, if you're a Middlesbrough fan and you'd like to call us about Tony Pulis' defeat today, 08085 909 693. And the Boo Boys as well, Aston Villa fans. Lots of Aston Villa fans have been giving Steve Bruce all sorts of abuse, especially after that defeat against Brentford. 08085 909 693.
West Brom.
And West Brom
Bottom
fans.
of the Premier League.
The thing is, Rob, we do this every week. We ask for West Brom fans, but they are now bottom of the Premier League. Okay, right then, let's go back to Old Trafford. Welcome back then to Alan Green and to Danny Mills.
Thank you very much, Jason. No further changes. United, of course, had to make that early alteration with the injury to Lukaku, who's still being treated here at Old Trafford by the medical staff, not being rushed off to hospital or anything like that. And if there's any further news, of course, we'll bring you it. So the revised United lineup, 0-0 at half-time, remember. Goalkeeper De Gea, defence, Young, Jones, Lindelöf and Shaw. Then it's Pogba and Matic. And then Mata, Lingard, Rashford and Mkhitaryan. Mkhitaryan with the first half that I'm sure he'd rather forget. I almost left him out of the 11 there. He was so ineffective. Southampton's 11. The goalkeeper's McCarthy. Then the defence, Stevens, Yoshida, Hoot and McQueen. Then it's Romeo. Then Buffal, Højbjerg, Tadic, Ward-Prowse and Long. And they'll be very happy with the way things are going, Southampton. Not just the fact that they're holding United 0-0, but they've carried as much attacking threat as the home side. We'll see if the pattern changes in the second half. It's Lingard on the far side. United in their red shirts, white shorts, attacking the Stretford end. On by to Lingard again, a low cross through the 6-yard box, but no United player was properly attacking it. They retained possession as it's played back by Mkhitaryan to Shaw. Shaw into Matic. Shaw again. Then he's tackled and the ball is cleared to Shane Long. Long back to Romeo. Romeo tried to flick it towards Tadic on the right flank. It was intercepted by Lindelöf. And then, well, Rashford's touch was poor. Groans of frustration from the United fans inside a packed Old Trafford again. Just remembered to start my stopwatch. Thank goodness there's a little clock on the monitor in front of me.
Thought you might have got a new one for Christmas, Alan.
No. I can't afford anything new. Romeo for Southampton in the centre circle. Romeo, who's outwardly defensive player in the midfield for Southampton. Ward-Prowse swings the cross in from the right towards Shane Long. It's headed away, still not left a penalty there. Ward-Prowse wins it again, holding off Shaw. Now it's back to Tadic. Romeo flicks it to the right side in Stevens, the right fullback, into Romeo once more. And Romeo, again, look how many players Southampton have committed into the United half, all bar their goalkeeper, McCarthy.
But I think that's really because all the Manchester United players are getting back behind the ball. You know, Rashford furthest up the pitch is still, he's now 10 yards inside his own half.
Mourinho is having a heated discussion with Bobby Madeley, the fourth official, as if it's his fault. You know, the decision went against you, Jose. And he's got his back turned to the game.
I do sometimes wonder why the fourth officials stand there.
Yeah. There's a ball played into the United penalty area, and then Lindelof stretches with his right foot and diverts it behind for a corner.
Because you just get battered, don't you, from pillar to post by both managers all the time. That has to be the worst job that you could possibly do.
I mean, sometimes you see it on television, it's more like a friendly discussion, but that wasn't friendly at all. So surely at some stage you say to Mourinho, go away.
In all fairness, though, it was a United throw-in.
Yes, it was.
The referee did get it wrong.
Without question, you're right. And the officials are wrong. Southampton corner, played in, headed away by Lindelof to the far side. And taken up by Højbjerg now to Buffal. Buffal's had a good game. Buffal passed two defenders, but as the ball it's gone behind for a corner.
Bobby Madeley must be saying to Craig Pawson through their communication system, any chance you getting that decision right and saving me an ear bashing? I'm getting battered on the touchline.
Oh well. 3.5 minutes gone in the second half here on 5 Live. 6:06 to come. Manchester United 0, Southampton 0. Corner to Saints. Goodness gracious, that wasn't far away from Shane Long, and Long is not the tallest player. It might be coming his way again. Southampton have the ball on the left flank, crossed in right-footed, cleared on the half volley by Matic, and then Young was caught there. Good advantage played by the referee, and it's cleared upfield. Here's Rashford being chased and run down by McQueen. Well done, the left back.
Good covering tackle from McQueen. It wouldn't quite bounce for Rashford. It didn't quite have enough pace on the ball, and as it bounced, it just checked up a little bit, and that meant that he had to check his stride.
We'll go to Bristol City in just a moment where there's been a goal, but Southampton on the attack. Ball played to Shane Long. Shane Long shoots. Miraculous save by De Gea. With his right foot, he somehow clipped that ball over the crossbar.
I do not know how David De Gea has got this up and over the crossbar, and I'm not sure he knows either. Brilliant ball in from Ward-Prowse. Shane Long gambled. He gets across, I think it's Jones at the far post. He gets across him. It's Matic. He gets across Matic at the far post, gets his shot on target, and somehow an outstretched right boot, a yard off the line, scoops up and over the crossbar off his time. And if he tried that 1,000 times, 999, it would end up in the back of the net.
We'll get to you in a moment, Ross, but there's a corner to Southampton once more. How on earth did Long not score? Play in by Ward-Prowse and headed clear from Manchester United. Come in, Ross.
10-man Wolves are behind. Bobby Reid has poked home for the Robins inside the box. Ashton Gate is rocking. The leaders' 10-game unbeaten run is under threat. Bristol City 1, Wolves 0.
Southampton are looking the better side in this second half so far. And we've played over 5 minutes here on 5 Live. Still 0-0. Played forward, Long's got to be offside, and he is offside. He thought, I'll shoot anyway. And the shot was very wide.
He almost hit the corner flag. Missed it by about a foot.
He still doesn't believe that De Gea made that save.
Well, we've just seen a little incident on the replay, on our little monitors in front of it. Just Ashley Young from the corner. Just has a little dig with his elbow, and then has another collision with Shane Long. Now, I just wonder, now this has been shown on MUTV, isn't it, our monitors. I just wonder if there might be a little bit of retrospective action on that one.
Could be. Danny Mills, our summariser tonight on 5 Live. We played 6 minutes of the second half. It remains Manchester United 0, Southampton 0. Earlier in the Premier League, Bournemouth 2, Everton 1. Chelsea 5, Stoke 0. If United don't win, Chelsea will be second tonight. That's where they sit at the moment. Huddersfield 0, Burnley 0. Liverpool 2, Leicester 1. Newcastle 0, Brighton 0. And Watford 1, Swansea City 2. Swansea off the bottom of the table. It's West Brom who are bottom tonight. West Brom play Arsenal at 4 o'clock tomorrow. You can hear commentary here on 5 Live.
I just wonder, Alan, and Mourinho would never ever admit this in a million years, but do you think he's almost conceded the title and realised actually we're not going to win the title now? And it's not necessarily going through the motions, but they're still going to win in games, but he might start to concentrate on other competitions.
With loose balls forward by Shaw like that, and goodness, look at Mourinho glaring at Luke Shaw, his left back, trying to shield his comments, but none too happy with what's going on. Jose Mourinho. Manchester United 0, Southampton 0.
There's been no urgency, has there, from Manchester United's performance to think, we must win this game, we've got to keep the pressure on Man City. And I just think maybe, even subconsciously, maybe some of the United players are thinking, well, you know what, we can't win the league now. City are almost too good. They're going to win too many. Even if United win every single game from now to the end of the season, might not be enough.
Well, I think it's United, Chelsea, Liverpool and Spurs and Arsenal playing for the remaining 3 positions in the top 4. City will be crowned champions. Here's Shaw. Shaw, berated by his manager just a moment ago, has run forward and he's won a corner. It was Stevens who got the blocking challenge in.
And we talked about that the other week. I think City play United in about 11 or 12 games time, something like that. That could be the day City officially win the title.
Mkhitaryan to take the corner from the left in front of the Stretford end. It's just tapped short to Shaw. Back to Mkhitaryan. Crosses right footed toward the far post, and that was a good defensive header because was that Matic on the far post?
Yeah, Yoshida did well. He got back and just managed to flick it behind for another corner before Matic would have had a free header on target.
Still people having a debate at half-time about whether Yoshida's quote handball was a penalty or not. Wasn't given. That corner may as well not have been taken. Easily caught by McCarthy.
Yeah, the consensus seemed to be it could have been given. Had it been given, there wouldn't have been many complaints. But that was after seeing several replays. I think at real time, we still haven't seen the referee's position.
We don't know what the referee saw.
And there wasn't a great deal of contact on the ball. And of course, if the referee hasn't seen it, if he's not 100% sure,
he can't give
that penalty.
No, he can't. Throw into Manchester United in front of the Sir Alex Ferguson stand on the far side of the field. It's played back to the halfway line to Pogba, the captain today, and Pogba finds Jones in the centre circle. Southampton have got everybody back. Goodness, they've worked hard today. Southampton, that is. Now it's played down the right side. Cross swung in towards the near post, headed up in the air, and an easy catch for the goalkeeper. And they're going to slow things down now, Southampton, when they do have possession in defensive areas like this.
Rashford, I think, is brilliant, and I love the way he gets the ball and drives at people, runs, creates things, tries to make things happen. But you can tell now United are lacking a presence up front. There is that no physicality, no sort of intimidation, and the defenders thinking, oh no, we're in for a really tough game at the moment.
Lovely touch by Long to Romeo to Boufal. If Boufal had got past Young there, there'd have been trouble, and now Boufal brings Young down, and that might be a yellow card. Young complaining about the challenge, the referee, Craig Pawson. He's just ticking off Boufal. Nothing more than that. The reason they don't have the physical presence, in case you're switching on to 5 Live, United lost Lukaku finally in the 13th minute, but that was after 6 minutes in which he had received treatment, static treatment. He was stretchered off in the end. We don't know the extent or the nature of his injury, but it was clearly very serious the way he was being treated by the medical staff on the field. 10 minutes gone in the second half here on 5 Live. 6:06 to come. Now, the ball swung out to the near side to the left to Luke Shaw. Shaw halfway inside the Southampton half. Taps it forward to Mkhitaryan. Mkhitaryan now runs along the edge of the penalty, shoots low, but despite the bodies between the shot and the goalkeeper had his body behind it.
Yoshida stuck a leg out, almost gave McCarthy a problem. Any sort of touch might have diverted it into the back of the net. But again, it's a weak shot from outside the box.
McCarthy with the clearance. Young jumps, put off Jones, and Jones's glancing header being chased after by Lindelof to prevent a corner, only at the concession of a throw-in on the near side of the field. And Mourinho looks increasingly animated in the technical area. His side haven't got going in the second half at all. Now here's Hoot ahead of the centre circle, running forward through the gap, slips the ball towards the left side. Boufal's there. Long was an obvious target, but the attempted cross ahead of defender rebounds, and then Boufal guilty of a foul, and Young is protesting again, wanting Boufal booked, and the referee responds.
Probably should have booked him for the earlier foul on Ashley Young, where he tripped him up as Ashley Young had gone past him. This was another little shirt pull, the referee indicating that's 3 in a very short space of time.
Yeah, he was embracing Ashley Young, let's say. It was definitely another foul. Couldn't give a... Oh, we're just seeing the, quote, earlier incident involving Ashley Young. Certainly he used an elbow, which certainly wasn't seen by the referee.
No, I think it was the camera sort of behind the goal on the stanchion that picked it up. It's the little elbow.
Young cross into the penalty area, and then it's headed behind by Stevens, the right fullback. He didn't know what was happening behind him.
So United still putting high crosses into the box. Lukaku's not on the pitch. Zlatan's not on the pitch. You've got to change your way of thinking. Got to change the way you're trying to create chances.
Corner was wasted. Ball's back in the halfway line with Shaw. That's a good crossfield ball by Shaw to his opposite number, Ashley Young on the far side of the field. Forward to Pogba. Pogba crosses in towards the near post. It wasn't great. Crouching header away by the defender. Southampton just not rushing the ball to the halfway line, just controlling its progress. Southampton have played well tonight. Now it's hit Long, looking for Long. He jumps, he didn't get his head to the ball, and it's back with De Gea. De Gea, remember that fantastic save from Shane Long in the second half. I was just waiting to acclaim Long's first goal since February. Here he is now, Long to Boufal. Left of the centre circle, on to Tadic. Long runs forward. Tadic keeps possession. Holds off a challenger, Mkhitaryan. Plays it toward Price. It was slightly underhit the pass. Mkhitaryan gets there first and clears it carefully to Matic. And Matic now being pulled back by Tadic. Tadic was booked in the first half. He's going to be very careful. Here's Mkhitaryan over the halfway line. Forward to Lingard and on to Rashford. Rashford challenged. Lingard was challenged firmly as well. Referee saw nothing wrong with it. And oh, goodness gracious. Lingard's foot was very high there. That's a yellow card.
It's probably got his yellow card for his reaction to Craig Pawson, where he turns around and throws his arm towards the referee. I mean, he slid in, studs were up, didn't catch Stevens,
yeah,
but it was dangerous.
Wasn't it? Dangerous. So we've had quite a few yellow cards here at Old Trafford tonight. There is now a second red card at Bristol City. Ross Eaton.
Yes, it's 10 men each. Keeper Frank Fielding has been sent off for Bristol City. Side down Doherty outside of the box. It's down to 10 men each. Bristol City 1, Wolves 0.
Long challenging for the ball, but United's defence holds out. Pogba plays it away to Young, who's increasingly on the attack down that far side of the field, the United right. In it goes to Mata. Mata halfway inside the Southampton half. On to Young. Young plays it off the full-back and wins a throw-in.
I think Ashley Young has been United's liveliest player, hasn't he?
Yes, he has.
I mean, Rashford's done quite well since he came on. A few darting runs, driving runs through the middle of the pitch. But apart from that, Mata's been useful when he's had the ball. But apart from that, Manchester United have been pretty anonymous.
Less than half an hour to go. Manchester United 0, Southampton 0. Mkhitaryan, woeful cross. You hear how that was greeted by the United fans?
I think he's got my left boot on. because every time he stuck it in the stand.
Awful. But also Old Trafford...
Got the Adidas stand finders on.
Old Trafford's very quiet. Very quiet.
And that cross was greeted by huge jeers, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah.
In fact, he hit that cross, and he looked around straight at the manager. Whether he was expected to be dragged off, I'm not sure he'll be here come the end of January.
United's last 3 results: they defeated Bristol City in the League Cup, then successive draws away to Leicester and here at Old Trafford to Burnley, and they're being held again 0-0 against Southampton.
I don't know what Huddersfield and Burnley will be like, and Newcastle, Brighton, but at the moment this is last on Match of the Day.
Well, it ain't great. And here's Buffal over the halfway line. He's quick, isn't he? Buffal taps it back, and Højbjerg slips it to the left-hand side to McQueen. McQueen, the left fullback, back to Højbjerg. Ward-Prowse is unmarked down the right side for Southampton, and it's going in his general direction. There's a goal at Bristol City, Ross Eaton.
And it's gone to the leaders. Wolves have not been beaten since October, and they battle back here. Barry Douglas with a spectacular free kick. Bristol City down to 10 men themselves with their goalkeeper Frank Fielding sent off. His first introduction to this game, picking the ball out of the net. Luke Steele, the substitute goalkeeper. Bristol City 1, Wolves 1.
There's a free kick for a challenge on Buffal. Southampton have won only 1 of their last 11 league games, and they're looking very confident in possession here at Old Trafford. 0-0. Young is losing his rag. Buffal tried to take the ball off him.
I think he's getting very frustrated, because he's the one, Alan, that he's really trying. He's putting a shift in. He's trying to get forward. He's defending well. He's working back. His attitude's been really spot on. I think he's getting frustrated with the rest of his team, and then of course that leads into with the opposition, the referee.
Ward-Prowse with a free kick. Deep, goodness gracious! I was almost met by Yoshida, and it was punched clear by De Gea, who was also clattered as well. So it's a free kick to Manchester United.
Really good punch from David De Gea. Accidental collision from Yoshida. He's got every right to go for the ball. As the ball's floated into the box, they're both going for it. De Gea comes out, a really good, solid, brave punch. And I think he lands awkwardly. There's not much contact from Yoshida. He goes over the back of Jones in the end. It's not actually Yoshida that catches him.
Do you hear the cheers? That's because Mkhitaryan's being replaced by Martial.
Oh, you know what? That's... He needed to come off, but that's harsh. When you come off and your home fans cheer that loudly.
It wasn't a cheer for Martial. It was really
it was a cheer. It was a cheer that Mkhitaryan was coming off. I really don't think he's going to be here much longer.
Now, he has had a stinker tonight, but he's a better player than what we've seen in Manchester. Now, Southampton on the attack. It's with McQueen. McQueen up to the left edge of the penalty, chips it towards the far post, easily caught by De Gea.
It's a bit like the Di Maria situation, isn't it? He just hasn't settled here. He hasn't been able to find his feet here at Old Trafford.
Well, we played 19 minutes in the second half. Here's Martial. Martial cutting in from the left side. Wanted to play a 1-2. Oh, I don't think the referee saw that, but he's given a free kick for a challenge on Martial.
Not convinced about this.
Not at all.
Need to see the replay. Romeo holds his arms out. Ward-Prowse arguing with the referee. We're seeing the replay now. He cuts inside onto his right foot. Strong, powerful run. Yeah, he does. He catches him. He just catches his toe. And at that speed, that's enough for him to go down.
Right, the free kick is 5 yards outside the penalty area. To the left of the D as United look at it. Stratford end of Old Trafford. Ashley Young will take the free kick. Surely rather than Juan Mata from this angle. Southampton have got everybody back. Lined up along the edge of their penalty area.
Has he not used... He's not used the spray, has he?
I don't think so.
Why would he not?
Do not know. Answers on a postcard too. Mata runs over the ball. Young takes it. Hey, goodness gracious. That looked inches wide.
From our angle, I almost thought it had gone in.
Got a deflection. It's a corner. Corner.
Don't know what happened to the magic spray there though.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
deflect.
it did caught the top of the wall.
Mata, left-footed corner towards the far post. The flag's up for pushing. The assistant spotted some pushing in the penalty area.
It's getting a little bit feisty.
Yep.
In there as well.
It has. Shirt tugging, according to the assistant.
Lingard's just had a little bit of afters as well in there. I think United just getting incredibly frustrated. But really, they've only got themselves to blame. Their attitude, they've not been up and at them. They've not really been on the front foot.
No, I don't think United have got much to complain about. I really don't. It's not as if Southampton have buried themselves in defence. They haven't done that.
Equally, they haven't needed to, have they?
No. Hood, the central defender, hits it upfield. Long jumps, heads the ball down. Tadic is there, tries to chip it back towards Shane Long. The defender does well, Lindelof. And now it's with Matic. Matic holding off a challenge. But Matic looks quite slow tonight. Gets the ball forward to Martial. It's out of play off a Southampton player, Stevens. And it's a throw in almost on the halfway line. United fans will feel just as frustrated as their team. Also frustrated at the, quote, relative style of the United display tonight. Can't really say it's been that attractive. Anyway, Lingard, back to Pogba. Pogba forward, Lingard again, into the penalty area to Rashford. Rashford maybe let the ball run a little bit too far. Retains possession, gets it back to Shaw. Shaw crosses, it hits Ward-Prowse and goes behind for a corner.
Shaw was fortunate. The cross was never on. It was always going to get blocked. It needs to be a bit more inventive in that situation. He was lucky that the ricochet went out for a corner.
Halfway point in the second half. Still 0-0 at Old Trafford on 5 Live. Corner played in, whipped in. Good header away. And now that was a poor touch by Young. And it's taken up by Højbjerg. Højbjerg holding off Young.
Didn't know where to go, did he? Looked up, there was nobody in front of him. He was like, help!
Plays it back. And now it's with McQueen. And McQueen under pressure. And the ball's out of play. It's going to be a throw into Manchester United. Short to take it. Short of the halfway line. Throws it to Lingard. Gives it back to Lingard. And now Mata to Matic. Matic being directed by Pogba to play it to Lindelof. And Lindelof 20 yards inside the Southampton half now. Urgency for Manchester United. Young back to Pogba. It's a bit slow. Now Young on the far side. A few yards in from the right touchline. Feeds it infield to Matic. Matic is available for a shot. Wasted. From 35 yards high over the crossbar.
Is that his third or fourth from that distance? Neither of them have been, well, there was one in the first half that sort of dribbled through to the goalkeeper, but the rest have been high and wide. Just getting a picture of United fans in the crowd shaking their heads. Well, it's almost disbelief, I think, at the way their team is playing at the moment.
Nobody's looking happy, that's for sure. And
but as defensive-minded as Mourinho is, he can't go out to his players and say, look, do not go and attack. You know, surely, even if he says to them, right, when you get in the attacking third or attacking half, you go and do what you got to do, you know, and you just attack people. Then some of that responsibility has got to come down to the players as well.
Lingard looking to feed the ball through to Matt, easily intercepted by Yoshida. Here's Romeo. Seeks it to the far side, and it goes back to McQueen. And now Hoot. Careful pass forward to Højbjerg. Somehow the ball gets back to Yoshida. Yoshida under a little bit of pressure. Runs forward. That's a good ball in the end. Now, I think Buffal's had a really good game. Here he is, just outside the United penalty. Taps it to Ward-Prowse. First time cross in towards the near post. The header down and away. Runs to Southampton's possession. Buffal can cross again. Whipped it in. And a looping header from... who was that in there? Tadic over the crossbar.
It was just behind him and a little bit high. He had to lean backwards, sort of strain his neck to try and get it on target, and wasn't able to in the end.
And would you be surprised, Danny Mills, if Southampton scored here?
No, I wouldn't. I mean, it's been a very even game, in all honesty, hasn't it? There's been half chance. United have probably had the better of the half chances, but they haven't really looked like scoring. No. It's not like the goalkeepers had save after save after save to make. These are, 2 saves?
And United have to win to go above Chelsea into second place again. Chelsea beat Stoke by 5-0 in one of the 3 o'clock kickoffs. United on the attack here. Martial almost got through into the penalty area, supported by Mata, but it's taken away. Oh goodness, there's another booking. That's got to be a yellow card for Matic. Yes. Well, he pulled down the Southampton player rather than let him rush away. Just a reminder of the other results, because they're important with regard to your calls to 606. Bournemouth 2, Everton 1. Huddersfield 0, Burnley 0. Liverpool 2, Leicester 1. Leicester took the lead, an early lead at Anfield. Newcastle 0, Brighton 0. And Watford 1, Swansea 2. Swansea off the foot of the Premier League table tonight. West Brom are bottom. West Brom play Arsenal tomorrow, 4 o'clock kickoff. Full commentary here on 5 Live. 18 minutes left of the 90. Still 0-0 at Old Trafford, and Southampton aren't flattered by that scoreline. Ward-Prowse to Romeo, on to Hoot, and everyone bar Yoshida and the Southampton goalkeeper inside the United half. Now it's Shane Long on the far side of the field. Long whips a cross in, but it's easily headed away by Jones. Headed back in there by Long. Bouncing towards Tadic. Matic was there. Goodness gracious. Matic lost the ball and he went to reclaim it. Almost fouled Tadic. And when Tadic eventually crosses, it's blocked by Matic. Behind he goes for a corner.
Well, we talked about how even it was, Alan. I just looked at the stats. Both had 3 shots on goal. You know, there was the Shane Long shot that was scooped over the bar somehow, wasn't it, by David De Gea's foot. There was the chance early on for Lukaku. So, yeah, it's a pretty even game.
Corner to Southampton. Dominating the corners. That was dominated by Matic, who headed it away. And then it's headed by Mata towards the far side. Back into Southampton's possession. It's with McQueen. McQueen to the left side. Good 1-2 played by Southampton. And now it's whipped towards the right side. And Long did well to put off Shaw. Allowed the ball to carry through to Tadic. Tadic into the penalty area. Tadic checks onto his left foot, onto his right foot again. He's asking an awful lot. There's a second defender there. It was Jones. Tadic still has the ball though. Maybe he's now trying to work himself into a position to get a corner. No, he chips it into Romeo. Romeo in the penalty area. Romeo, oh, I think he's won a corner. Wow. That's, no, not. The decision wasn't queried by the Saints players, so it was a goal kick. De Gea takes it. 74 minutes gone here on 5 Live. The number for 606 to join Jason and Robbie, 08 085 909 693. Mata to Martial. Martial's touch aimed at Mata, didn't have enough pace, and it's cleared over the halfway line back towards the United penalty area. Doesn't reach De Gea. Jones gets there first. Jones to Lindelöf, on to Pogba. Pogba on the halfway line, to the right of the centre circle. And now it's with Matic. Pogba again. And Pogba chips it. Oh, just too easy to be headed clear by Southampton. It's back with Pogba again. Well, he decides to give it to someone else to have a go. Lindelöf. And now Martial. He's in a central position. Remember, Lukaku stretched it off after 13 minutes. He was on the floor for 6 minutes being treated. Manchester United on the attack. Matic, 30 yards from goal, plays it to his left to Shaw. And Shaw crosses, hits a defender, rebounds to Boufal. Boufal to Højbjerg. Højbjerg sits between 2 United players as if they weren't there. Plays it forward to Shane Long. Long, back to Højbjerg. Højbjerg forced to run down the left side, being hustled by Ashley Young. Back it goes to McQueen, the left fullback. Look where he is, halfway inside United territory. Into Romeo. The passing of Southampton has been increasingly comfortable tonight. Now it's Tadic. Tadic looking for the run of Long. Boufal on to Long. Long edge of the penalty area. Oh, Tadic. Tadic tried to side put it into the net. Side puts it wide.
Was almost a little bit too casual, wasn't he? Trying to side for the in. But I think Southampton realise they can possibly win this game. I think Gabbiadini's going to come on very, very shortly, showing their attacking a threat that they really believe. Not only can they get a point, they can probably get 3.
I think an argument could be made that they've been the better side. But here's Martial breaking forward up into the penalty area. Good work by Stevens. Ball still with Manchester United. Shot forwards, blocked by a defender. Hit the defender as much as anything else. and Southampton survived that little scare. Now it's with Boufal, brilliant control by Boufal. Boufal running at Lindelof, running infield, plays it to Tadic, and on to Ward-Prowse on the near side of the field. Long's got his left arm raised, hoping for a cross swinging. The cross came in, but it was wildly overhit beyond Long, and it's out of play for a throw-in.
Unlike Ward-Prowse, normally his delivery is exceptional. I think it was a miscommunication. Shane Long wanted it whipped into the near post, and Ward-Prowse put it to the far post. But it looks like a double substitution from Southampton.
Well, they want all 3 points. They're certainly worthy of 1 point if it stays 0-0. Now they've got a free kick. So, Gabbiadini, who else?
Can't quite see. There's a lot of activity down on the bench.
Very shortly, 2 changes. Gabbiadini is certainly coming on. I feel quite sorry for Long. He's worked very hard. Here's Ward-Prowse. That is if Long is brought off. Now it's with Tadic. On to Boufal, who's been excellent for Southampton. Boufal, well, he's disturbed by the presence of Pogba. He just allowed the ball to run out of play for a throw-in to Manchester United. And Pogba showing frustration. He has to wait for Shaw to take the throw-in. Still, Gabbiadini is ready. The throw-in's been taken. And now Matic hits it forward. Lingard controls it off his right thigh. Plays it back to Pogba again. Pogba sweeps it to the far side. That was the ball the United fans wanted. To Ashley Young. Young onto Mata. Young surges down the right. Mata ignores him. Turns towards the left. Mata approaching the penalty area. Forward it goes. Martial feeds it in there. Shaw tried to pull it back. Blocked by the defender. Rebounds for a corner.
United creating pressure but not creating chances. They've got to be a little bit more imaginative in and around the Southampton penalty area.
12 minutes of the 90 remaining. Finally the United fans find a voice in terms of support. Played in and knocked behind. I think it's off a United player in the end, off Martial. It's a goal kick.
Pinball wizard. Attempted clearance. Hit a Southampton player and then hit Rashford on the way out.
Yeah, with Gabbiadini on for Shane Long. Let's get an update from Bristol. Ross Eaton.
8 minutes to go here. It's 1-1 and very much in the balance. Saiss and Cavallero had decent efforts for the visitors. Matt Taylor's also gone close for Bristol City. Bristol City 1, Wolves 1.
Well, he's had 2 goals and 2 red cards at Bristol City. We've had a lot of yellow cards and no goals here at Old Trafford. You're listening to 5 Live. And Shane Long being richly applauded by the visiting Southampton fans. He's done a good shift. And he almost scored that so elusive goal. Incredible save by David De Gea. So just the 1 change at the moment for Southampton. They're looking for a winning goal. Ward-Prowse caught the United player there.
Just caught Lingard across the midriff, didn't he? Just hung a leg.
4th yellow card of the night for Southampton. Free kick's taken. Pogba plays it to Young. More like a right winger now than a right full-back. Young goes forward. He's been pulled back. It's a free kick to United just to the right of the penalty area. Young wants to take it quickly. And it was...
It's the second time. He had a little push initially. Now he's had another one. I mean, you can tell Ashley Young's very, very frustrated today.
Yeah, but the referee should warn him. Just telling him to back off a little bit. He was pulled back by Boufal.
Well, it's Boufal, who's already on a yellow card.
Yes.
So might consider himself a little bit fortunate.
Young's going to take the free kick. I count at least 6 red shirts inside the penalty area, 2 looking outside it. Young waits, and then another player rushes forward. Matic, ball played in towards Matic. It might fall to Matic, and it's into the net. Oh, Pogba! No, flags up for offside.
This is going to be really interesting to see whether this was offside or not. It was a complete goalmouth scramble. The low free kick into Matic, who turned, stabbed it goalwards. I don't know, was it heading in? It may well have been headed in before Pogba touched it. We see the replay. Yes, Pogba's in an offside position as the ball is stabbed forward. Oh, but would it have gone in? Could he have taken that risk? I think it might have hit the post, but then where would it have gone? Would it have gone in, or would it have come back out again?
Well, another player who I think has had a fine game for Southampton tonight is being replaced. That's Tadic by Lemina. So, there again, an attacking player for Southampton. 0-0. So that was very close to United taking the lead. And we played 82 minutes at Old Trafford. Lindelof to Jones. And Matic onto Shaw on the near side, the left back. Shaw goes over the halfway line and taps it back to his right to Matic. Matic to Shaw again. Shaw takes his eye off the ball. It runs on. Goodness gracious, Mourinho bellows at him. I mean, that was not even half hidden. That I'm not saying it was abuse towards Shaw, but my word.
I don't think they're best of friends in the first place.
No, but shouting at your player like that. It's not as if he's shouting at a few other players in red shirts who perhaps aren't as great. Now, play through to Mata. Ball ahead of Mata through to the goalkeeper McCarthy. What I mean is there are other players who haven't distinguished themselves tonight.
Trouble is when you're closest, when you're on it's like the fourth official being a fullback. Sometimes you're the nearest point of contact to get hurled that abuse.
Is that from personal experience?
Oh, without a doubt. you ask any wing or any fullback, because you're the closest, it's normally you that gets it in the ear first.
Here's Lemina. Lemina plays it to the left to McQueen, and McQueen to Lemina again. Buffal hanging back. Lemina was almost fouled there by Pogba. Oh, that's a poor ball by Lemina. Hit straight to Shaw. I hope for his sake he doesn't misplace the pass, but he did. Oh, now he's being applauded, was he, by Mourinho? You can interpret the United coach's body language however you like. As you say, Danny, the relationship with Shaw is clearly not the best. Here's Yoshida. 7 minutes to go, plus added time. Lemina on the far side, inside the United half. And now Buffal's across on that flank. Buffal takes it up from McQueen. Buffal steps away from Young, tries a shot from an acute angle. It hit Matic. Matic didn't react, it's still there. Then Lemina shoots. Goodness gracious, that rushes through the 6-yard box. Now, if I was Mourinho, I'd be shouting at that.
Without a doubt.
That's ridiculous.
Matic has done well sitting in front of the back four. He does what he does. We know that. But it was Lindelof, as the ball bounced and spun up. Not quite sure. He just didn't react quick enough. Just seeing could have been a goal again. Pogba's definitely offside. I think it would have hit the post. This might be a better angle. I think it would have hit the post, Alan, wouldn't it? So Pogba had every right to tap it into the empty net, but he was offside.
Inside the final 6 minutes. Another change. Redmond's coming on for Southampton. And, wow, Buffal's been terrific.
Yeah, he might just have ran out of steam. I think Maurizio Pellegrino just thinks, you know what, let's get some fresh legs on, bit more energy, let's make sure we don't lose this game, and if we can nick something, well, even better.
Well, I think Southampton have at least earned a point tonight, but it's not guaranteed yet. 5 regular minutes to go, plus added time. Jones from Manchester United to Shaw. About 6 yards away from his manager. Shaw back to Jones, red shirt to red shirt, and on to Pogba. And Pogba, short of the halfway line, or at least he was, drives it forward. Martial controls it, but then he's tackled and loses it to Højbjerg, and in an attempt to win it back, he fouls Højbjerg, and it's rightly a free kick.
I think Pogba's played too deep today. You know, even then, he's on the halfway line. You need Pogba as one of those 3 attacking midfielders, don't you, playing further forward.
He's alongside Matic for most of the time.
And Matic, we know how good he is. He's good enough to play that position pretty much on his own.
Which is a position that Romeo's being asked to play for Southampton. You know, he's the one solidly defensive midfield player for the visiting team. Ball hit outfield by Southampton, straight into the United penalty area, straight to Lindelof, who finds Jones. Time running out for Manchester United. Chelsea, at the moment, are ahead of them in second place in the Premier League. And all bar a win for United would keep that the same situation. Here's Shaw forward, easily robbed of the ball. Here's Romeo over the halfway line, and it's played towards the right side towards Ward-Prowse. Now, Gabbiadini's inside the penalty area. It found a red shirt, that cross though. Pogba backheeled the ball away. Chip forward again by Southampton, cleared by Manchester United without great conviction. Pogba is behind Ashley Young now. Pogba drives it upfield towards Martial, headed away well by Stevens, the right fullback. And Southampton again build on the far side of the field, and it goes to Romeo, flicked on, and now Højbjerg being hustled, but retains possession. Højbjerg again, that's a good ball to the right side, and Stevens, Ward-Prowse is about 30 yards further upfield inside the United half, but it's played back to the captain Rashiva, and then forward, and Lemina was dilly-dallying. Lemina lost the ball initially, but it's won back, and I don't think it's a free kick. No, it's not. And it's cleared by Stevens over the halfway line. Headed back by Young, collected by Romeo. Romeo not rushing things. Lemina just flicks it toward Prize. Back to Lemina. Lemina almost level with the edge of the United penalty area. Gives it back to Ward-Prowse. Lemina again. Look how static Manchester United are. They're hardly moving. Romeo plays it forward, and now the ball squirts away kindly for Southampton to Ward-Prowse down the right flank. Back to Lemina, and Lemina to Romeo. Romeo lost that easily. Pogba from Manchester United now. 2 minutes of the regular 90 to go. Pogba foul. Free kick to United.
Not convinced about that one. I think Paul Pogba's an awful lot stronger than that.
United take the free kick in the wrong position, and they knew it, so they were forced to retreat a few yards. Taken successfully this time. And now Lingard, scorer of the late equaliser against Burnley, finds Martial down the left side, who approaches the penalty area, checks onto his right foot, plays it back to Shaw into Mata, wide to Martial again, his cross toward the far post, header down, should be a charge upfield by Redmond. Redmond feeds it forward. He played it in the direction of the one player that wasn't going to get there. Gabbiadini was too slow. United have it again with Young on the far side. 89 minutes played. Southampton maybe just sitting back a little bit more. Now they cross into their penalty area, headed away. Gabbiadini plays it back. Hit forward to the far side to Redmond. Now it's with Højbjerg. Gabbiadini's running through the middle, pointing to where he wants the ball played. It's played in that general direction, but Lindelof was going to get there first, and the defender plays it back to De Gea. De Gea out to Matic. The fourth official will be coming up soon to tell us how much time will be added on. 3 or 4 minutes, something like that. Not the substantial added time there was at the end of the first half for the Lukaku injury. Matic, a few yards outside the penalty, into Mata. Here's an opportunity, shot, hits a defender. I don't know how that wasn't a shot at goal.
I don't even think that would have hit the target. It was a clever little play from Matic and then Juan Mata to get in the opportunity, and as he pulled the trigger, looked like it was going to go well wide, but it hit the defender. 3 minutes
of added time. Lemina's given that ball away very cheaply. Martial to Mata. Mata tackled by Ward-Prowse, but somehow gets the ball back to Luke Shaw. And now central position for Lingard. Lingard plays it to the right, and Young doesn't delay. There's the cross into the penalty. The header down, the goalkeeper's there. So too is the defender. The goalkeeper has the ball in his hands, Ryan McCarthy.
Rashford again just mistimed his header. It was amongst an awful lot of bodies in there. Wasn't easy for them, and in the end, Jack Stevens was able to clear.
A goal at Bristol City, Ross Eaton.
It's come in stoppage time, and it's come to the Championship leaders. Ryan Bennett has headed Wolves in front. It was a whip free kick, and he headed it in at the far post. Late drama. Bristol City 1, Wolves 2.
Well, there are an awful lot of Manchester United fans who are leaving Old Trafford. Lots of empty seats around this stadium, but we still have 2 minutes of added time. United accustomed to scoring late important goals. Here's Mata. Mata on to Marshall. Mata running ahead of him. Mata gets to the ball edge of the penalty area, but then Romeo's there, and Romeo does well. Concentrates on making the clearance towards the halfway line. It's headed down by Matic, and a red shirt, Shaw, gets there. Finds another one, the captain Pogba. Pogba to Shaw. Shaw onto Mata, and Mata crosses left-footed, swirling into the penalty area. Well defended by Southampton. There may even have been a foul on the defender there, but Romeo clears it. Keeping it in play, bouncing towards the halfway line where it's met by Jones.
Just got to stick it in the mixer. Got to hit and hope a little bit.
A minute and 20 seconds remaining. Mata has the ball in the penalty, plays it in low. Marshall's there, can't pull it back, but his attempted cross hits the defender, it's a corner.
Right, this has to be last chance, surely.
1 minute of added time remaining. It would be very cruel on Southampton now. So important for Manchester United. The corner, though, was headed away quite comfortably to the near side, taken up by Redmond. Redmond just taps it into the shin of Shaw, and it's out of play for a throw-in.
I can't believe he didn't just knock it past Luke Shaw and have a little bit of a race with him.
Full-time score at Bristol. Bristol City 1, Wolves 2. Wolves 10 points clear at the top of the championship. Manchester United appear to be staying in third place in the Premier League. 15 points behind Manchester City, who have a game in hand tomorrow. United still may think there's time. 15 seconds of time. Pogba to Shaw.
Get it in the box.
Shaw delays, but now he swings the ball in. And that met a red shirt, tapped on, well defended by Southampton again. And Stevens clears it high over the halfway line. It's 0-0 the final score, and the boos ring around Old Trafford. Southampton fully deserve their point.
Very average performance.